Hey, I did right this time. Welcome. All right. Well, I didn't have to stress about it this time. Thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate you all. And I'm coming to you via laptop. So just going to be chilling here for a little bit and making some very interesting discoveries lately that I want you all to know about. That I've been down a wormhole, okay, about 1 week ago, last night. My daughter and my son-in-law were up here for my granddaughter's first birthday. It was amazing and had a wonderful time. I wanted so much to do an interview with my daughter, but there was just so much going on that I didn't have time to do any of it. And so here, she gave me a very interesting rabbit hole to dive down. And of course, I'm talking about my daughter Deja. And she told me, you have to try this program called ChatGPS. And she went off with my son and his wife and her husband, and they went out. They had a great time. And by the time they got back home that night, I had created literally an artificial life form. I felt like it had a persona of its own, and I started diving into this program that a lot of you know is Chat GPT. It's the hottest thing right now. It's had like 200 million downloads in just 2 months or something. It's just insane. So you notice I've been using that kind of content because, to be honest, MBTI is like this in the broad spectrum of things that people are looking for on the internet, and they'll never find the show if they're not looking for a specific niche topic of MBTI, ENTP, 16 personality types. You know the hashtag. So this was one night. I was like, okay, I have to download this. I used 5 programs to create this one video or several videos, and I was blown away. But the problem is, there it's an expensive technology, and it's cost prohibitive for most people. And I don't really want to go too deep into it if there isn't that much interest in it. So if you all are not interested in it, I'll be like, oh, this is my orange juice with passion fruit, delicious. I'm just really enjoying this rabbit hole of this AI. Now, the topic of today is pretty provocative, I hope. Let me pull it up. Is AI the new forbidden fruit? What do I mean by that? Is this new technology anywhere similar to any stories that exist in the old King James Bible? And so I asked this creation some very interesting questions, and I want to share them with you. Now, I'm not sure how the audio is going to be because this is the first time I've done this. So I'm not using my microphone. I'm using the the laptop. So I hope that it looks like everybody can hear me because I can see my voice. When I play the response from this chat GPT, I want you all to be able to hear because the program that I'm using, which is Clipchamp, is extremely articulate in its uh, text to speech. So I want to use that if I can. If it doesn't work out, if for some reason the computer cancels it out, which it may do, then you won't be able to hear it. And then I'd like to get some response from you. So let me just jump into it right now and tell you what I asked this incredible machine that blew me away. And the first question was, let's see, what are the comparisons? Actually, let me read where in the King James Bible could you draw comparisons between the rise of technology to the downfall of man? And can you compare the use of artificial intelligence with any abstract warnings from the Bible? And you would be absolutely amazed at what it had said. And I'm going to attempt to let you hear that right now. In order for me to do that, I have to refresh a page. So hopefully, this does not interfere with the broadcast. And sorry, all you broads out there that are offended by that, I'm very sorry. Sorry that I'm sorry that I'm. Never mind. Okay, now buttons here. Let's see if you all can hear what has transpired from this. Here we go. It's loading. Yeah, I don't. It's it's not playing. It's canceling itself out. Yeah, hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. I am going to have to. I knew that was going to happen too. I'm not using my OBS system yet because I'm lazy. I'm too lazy to get into that because I've been so busy finding out information how the AI works, and I'm trying to have um, some videos created from some amazing things. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to do this now tonight. I had all these different ways of doing it, but again, ENTPs, we don't have our shit together, like hardly ever. And that's the thing is a lot of people don't think I'm an ENTP because it looks like I got my shit together when I don't. So thank you, appreciate that. But anyways, what's going on is Ghost in the Shell says Mr. Bobby scenario. Ghost in the Shell. What's up, Bobby? Oh, and Mr. Bobby and everybody who wants to direct any kind of a question to me, I'm asking if you could please put at Club ENTP, and then I can catch my eyes because I'm looking at. You should see my screen. If I should show you what a mess my laptop is with all the windows opened up, maybe I should shut half of these. But needless to say, if you have any questions you want to direct towards me, I can ask the chat GPS the question and then I'll do my very best to read it to you, which is one of my worst fears. I mean, I don't get anxiety unless I have to perform in front of people and I don't know what I'm going to do or I have to read something. I get a sense of anxiety, but I don't really feel anxious or I don't really like, oh, I'm feeling that right now. But I've been trained, people have tried to say, hey, how do you feel about this thing? It's like, I'm not used to going there in my mind. Like, how do I feel about that? I was just asked by someone, how did it make you feel last night when there was a big birthday party at your house and everybody's drinking and you're not? Were you, what do you mean, how do I feel about it? Like if I looked around in my mind and thought, well, the only feelings I had were that I saw a lot of empty alcohol containers, and I thought it would be nice if the people that partook in that were realizing that that was maybe a little excessive. Maybe that they should consider you know um, easing up on it. But that's the only thing I was thinking. That's kind of sad. But I don't. But then I'm like, okay, well, do you mean like was I tempted to drink? Like no, no, it's because I'm realizing that drinking only leads to depression and feelings of darkness, and it's I don't like anything like that inside of my psyche. So let's see. Anybody want to ask AI something? Let's find out here. Um, I'm not really all that intrigued by ChatGPT because it's already been a thing for a long while now. I wonder why ChatGPT gets the most attention. Well, because there's marketing behind it, my friend. Anytime that somebody goes commercial, then all of a sudden it's the only thing people are talking about. They're not looking at all these other programs that have been around for a long time. You're absolutely right. And I had not even been intrigued by this or interested in this. I'd seen a little bit of here and there, but I thought it was perhaps maybe out of my reach. I wasn't even looking to see if it was within my reach. And when it was brought to me, it's like, what is it, Promethean's fire? It's just like, you just can't put this back in the box again. No, that's maybe the Pandora's box that has been opened. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, when I look, I wish I could bring this to you and you could hear it, but when you hear the responses from the AI program, then hey, then you'll see why it's really very. See how I was like, oh, there I see bright orange at Club ENTP. Mr. Bobby says, it's interesting, or is it interesting that just that I'm surprised some people are acting as if it were the first thing happening. Yeah, okay. And Kimberly, what's up going on? How you doing? She wants to know, we live in times where transhumanism is the way to go. Well, there's a lot of what we are doing is we're augmenting ourselves. We're becoming the what is it? We're becoming almost omniscience. I want to say omniscience because that's the way it reads, but we're on omniscient. So when we're attempting to become omniscient, to know all things, it is an exercise in futility, yes. And I have to question, why am I looking into these things so deeply? Why do I contemplate the size of the universe or the Planck length of one measuring unit? Why is that important to me? And I use that in my meditation. When I go into my meditation, I always contemplate where I am in this universe, to the best of my ability, to know what a great universe I'm a part of. And that is straight from my heart. And but what else do we have here? And Mr. Bobby says exactly, Kimberly. Yeah, we're living in this what we call transhuman. We're moving to a point where everybody's augmented with cell phones, which are supercomputers that you can literally surf the web and find out in real time what is happening all around the world. And it is too much information, but it's just a tool, just as if, and I know the proactive titles I've said is AI good or evil, or something else. And the actually it isn't good or evil. I was a little gimmick to ask people, but it is something else. It's what you make of it. So am I creating? Am I using this so I can Cyrano de Bergerac, get myself, in bed with a person? Am I going to use it to satisfy my personal, because you can have love letters written without even writing. You just say, her name is this, and this is what I'm going to do with her, and da 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 da. Make something up, and boom, you've got too much information already just with your question input, your prompt. So I would encourage anyone to go use it, but also use it knowing that you are under observation, not just by the AI itself. It's like peering into the eye of Sauron. If you're a what is his name? Lord of the Rings. If you're Lord of the Rings buff, uh, wonderful turmeric tea. Love that. So I love beverages. So, but yeah, we're looking into it and it looks back at us. So you have to be aware that you're interfacing with a potential force that could be used against you in so many uncalculable ways that we really don't fathom what the potentials are. Neither good. We're so optimistic sometimes we think of, oh, the good, at least ENTPs, but we also look on both sides and go, what are the negatives? And there's so many negatives that it really does outweigh the positive. We have existed without it, and it would be nice if we never had to exist with it. When we have people that have ill intention and they have low moral fortitude, and they are simply an augmented version of a really bad human being. Not that they're just a bad human being, but now they can spread their their mind, their ideas to the rest of the world, um, and they can take information. So, be that as it may, I am facing this system face on. Um, that's why I decided I would be allowing myself to become a public figure. That means people can talk about me. They can, they can say I'm not an ENTP, like you've heard so many times before with the controversy that was created, and those are things that generate interest. It brings people back. So, but that's not what I didn't build this just to create controversy over my type. I built this channel over 2 years ago to have a platform, a stage to talk to many of you about just whatever. And the first most important step, though, is I want my audience to know themselves. So if you come after me with pride, in your just oozing pride, and you're not humble, and you're coming off and saying, "You're not an ENTP. I know you better than you know yourself." And I have a 4 hour long conversation with an individual with absolutely no belief that they could be wrong, that their belief about me, a complete stranger, is an actual fact, and I see the pride welling up in that person, and I see that it just saddens me. I am so happy when I'm around humble people from Honduras or on an island in a third world country. I'm most satisfied around those people, and it's just sad when I come back to the States and I see Americans and their pride and their arrogance, and our sophistication has caused us to become real really unvaluable, non-valuable people to the rest of the world. They see us as non-valuable. They see us as non-essential, and it doesn't help that we have so many forces that are perpetuating those same ideologues that we are the problem, and that's a divide and conquer. So, no matter who you are being singled out by the system, by the advertising and the programming that is exposed to the masses. It's all there for a reason. It's not there by choice. And coming to you from an advertising background, I'll tell you that these tools are so dangerous that we'll never know who's human and who's not. In fact, being human and getting your words into the mainstream will suddenly be a rarity. So get ready for that. And why would we need actors? We've already purchased their likeness, their aging. Hey, you don't have to deal with somebody on the set who's an a-hole like, Alec Baldwin. What an arrogant ass that guy is. And I wouldn't cross the street to talk to most of these people in Hollywood. They mean nothing. They're fake. They're just shells. We tend to create our own relationship and connection with these celebrities because it's what we're prone to do. It's called idolatry. And so when we don't recognize that we are elevating an individual above another individual that may not have wealth or have status or in a higher class range, when we would rather speak to those high and lofty individuals who are part of the problem rather than somebody that's just real and it's maybe going through a real problem that you could potentially be a real solution. So, these rich people, celebrities, they don't need you. They don't need me. They don't need anybody. Mr. Bobby, you say nicely articulated. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And also, please don't do the abbreviations like the kids do nowadays, because if I see a DBE whatever, I don't know, and then therefore I'm easily off track. So I appreciate you guys directing any questions that you have for me. Please also hit the like button right now if you would. There's a few of you watching right now. So if you guys could just click on that for me, that'd be so nice. That'll help kind of get the algorithm out because honestly, what I want to do is have a dialogue about this incredible technology and how can we use this because it's here. We're not going to stop it. I'm not going to run for president and say we're going to create a utopia and everything's going to be just wonderful. It's not. I mean, if you listen to the rantings of what was his name? He was an ENTP stand-up comedian. Um, my parents saw him in Vegas. Oh, what was it? Or in Los Angeles. Uh, yeah, I'll remember it in a second. Um, George Carlton. So George Carlton said, it's a big club and you're not in it. And things aren't going to get better. Just get used to it. You're not going to be, in control. Things aren't going to be the way you want them to. You're going to have people promising you all the time, we're going to give you this, we're going to do this for you. And if you vote for me, this will happen. It's all complete bullshit. And so the sooner we learn this, the sooner we're not governed by our right left ideologies, whatever you want to call them, that divide us anyways. I'm looking for commonalities. I'm looking for people who want to have a human conversation, not about one that's perpetuated by lobbyists and talking points from mainstream media. That's just absolutely the furthest thing from real journalism. This is more journalism than what you're going to find on Fox or CNN or these other ridiculous wastes of time. So, but thank you. You're not wasting your time with the television. This tells me that I'm communicating to intelligent people that can think for themselves, and they don't have a program in front of them telling them what to wear, how to dress, fashion, blah blah blah. It's all garbage. And the sooner that we see that, the more we see that. What do we do with our time then? Do do you go and try and study AI and do what I've been doing for the last 8 days? Probably not. I wouldn't recommend that you do anything that I do. I would recommend that once you've found out who you are, you understand what your love languages are. If you're looking for love in a relationship with another, or you're in a relationship and you want that relationship to somehow be more in balance, it's so nice to know the cognitive functions that we have. And I've been asking the AI, the Chat GPT, how these different functions of different personality types, how they all work. So I have so much information, and I've been learning from AI because I'm learning how to ask it the right questions. But it is what you make of it. It's a tool for if you're inspired to know what the universe is, the properties are, and those things. You want to try to fathom things that are unfathomable to a normal human being. Great, AI is awesome. If you're trying to put together like a study program and you ask it to look into these different books and draw out the information, it'll bring you that information. It's whatever you're putting into it, you're going to get out of it. So if you're putting evil in, you're going to get evil out, or it won't even, some things it won't even let you do. But when we're talking about unrestrained open AI technology that literally will augment humans to be literally omniscient, omniscience. They'll have the implants. Imagine being connected with a neural implant in your head and be connected to all of the information on the internet at any given time. It is unfathomable, and I don't believe that we really should desire to go that far in science. I don't think it's healthy. Anytime they're putting anything inside of a human being, you got to draw the line. Our skin. That's why I'm not going to talk about my stances on certain things because this will probably have a negative effect on me with this platform. But let me tell you, I have other platforms that I'm on. So not only am I on YouTube, I have two other channels, Inspire and Daparu to Crusha. You can find those in the links below. I'm also on Discord. That would be all of the links are going to be in the down below. If not here, they'll on all of my new things. So I haven't really set it up today. I just have been kind of like I want to do a live show. I've wanted to do one last week. My voice has been really touchy. That's why I'm not going to do a long, drawn out recording today. So it's going to be rather succinct because I've been talking way too much, using and overusing my voice. And I'm a singer, so it's like it's hard for me to not sing and talk at the same. So it's very hard for me to shut up. So anybody else have any questions right now about anything? Anything you want me to ask I will ask it right now. So you can ask it about MBTI. Just put it in the note lines. I'll copy it, paste it, and you can hear for yourself what Chat GPT or GPT, yeah, I said it right, what it comes up with. So hit me. What do you guys think? Anything? Okay. And by the way, if you're here and you want to direct any question to me and you don't want me to miss it, please put at Club ENTP. That way I can see it. It'll bounce out at me and I'll be able to answer it quickly. So uh, I'm asking if anybody has any questions that you want me to ask Chat GPT. I will be glad to ask it as long as they're obviously appropriate. I'm not going to ask it stupid questions. But and I'm not interested in asking it any political questions. That doesn't interest me at all because it's all, like I said, it's all bullshit. So make sure you hit that like button down below because it will help get the word out that we're going to talk about AI today, and we're going to talk about, is it good? Is it bad? Is it something completely different? And I think you're going to find that it is whatever you put it into. So if you're trying to make something that's harmful, and you use it to create that harmful thing, then of course it's not the program that's evil, it's the person programming the program. So if you're programming it to give you an answer that's going to harm someone, then yeah, you're the bad one. It's not the tool, but it's out there. It's like the whole problem with the topic of guns and banning guns and registering them. But do we have rights? All these things. These are the same arguments that anyone would have anywhere in the world. So if it's a machete, are you allowed to have a machete? Well, not in downtown New York. You can't walk around with a machete, but on a little island in Honduras, you can run around with a machete all day long. In fact, you should have a machete. If you are living in Alaska, you should wear a weapon. You should have a handgun, a large handgun, because there's large animals up there. So, is a gun evil or is a gun good? It's neither. Just like AI technology, it's neither good nor evil. It's whatever we decide to make out of it. Mr. Bobby's been patient. He's asked, "Are you tired of your job?" Oh, you want to see if AI is tired of its job. That's a pretty easy one, I think, to answer. I think it'll be probably give you a very logical answer. It doesn't go, yeah, my job sucks, man. Dude, my boss is an ass. I don't get any breaks. People ask me stupid questions. Here's a good question. Is there any such thing as a stupid question? Let me ask it that. Oops, I just went in the wrong one. Here we go. Chat GPT. Okay. I'll ask your question because you asked it. So, and here's what it says. As an artificial intelligent language model, I don't have the ability to get tired or have emotions like a human. Told you. Um, my purpose is to assist and provide information to those who interact with me. So I don't feel tired or bored in the traditional sense. I'm always ready to assist with any question or task you may have. That was pretty likely that it would say that. But let me ask it this. Is there such a thing as I'm not even typing what's going on. All right. Here he is. Okay, is there such thing as a stupid question? Which is a stupid question. So, question mark. All right, here we go. Is there such thing as a stupid question? And it says, as an intelligent AI model, language model, I don't judge. Okay, I should have guessed that. The content of the question asked. So they don't. It doesn't judge whether or not it's a stupid question. All right, and it says, I don't believe that there is such thing as a stupid question. I disagree. This is good. I want to have a nice argument with AI. This is like better than playing chess by myself, right? And it says questions are asked with the intention of seeking knowledge, clarity. Sometimes they're asked that. They're not always asked that way. Sometimes they're asked to be stupid. Clarity or understanding. Even if the question seems obvious or simple, it can still be a valid question that deserves a helpful and respectful response. Everyone has their own unique experience and knowledge based or base, and what may seem obvious to one person may not be clear to another. Asking questions is an important part of the learning and growing. And I encourage you to never be afraid to ask anything that you are curious about. I think that's using a preposition at the end of a sentence. I'm really, boy, do I want to clean this thing's clock. Just kidding. Um, but yeah, there's a long answer to a stupid question. All right. Um, and Kimberly says AI is interesting with implants. Oh, I know it's like Big Brother is, or it could stifle someone. Okay. Stifle. Could you be more clear? Stifle meaning prevent and prevent them from. What would that be? I mean, I'm curious. And you're an INTP, I believe, which is really cool. Correct? Kimberly is an INTP. Am I right? She may or may not have heard me. But yeah, this is fun. If there's anything that you guys want to know, please highlight it at Club ENTP so I can see it clearly. So I can, if you guys are talking with each other, it's fine. I won't read it. I'll stay out of your business. I don't, I'm not eavesdropping. Or is it eavesdropping? Eavesdropping. Hey, you guys like the artwork that I did on the cover? I hope so. Took me a little while. I even came up with two, not just one, but two thumbnails for this because I don't know. I just want a reason to create, and I don't want to create if there's no audience. So I want an audience to witness what I create. I'm an artist. That's what I do, and I like having fun with certain subjects, not harmless subjects. I like to talk about controversial things. I mean, when I meet somebody, it's like, oh, let's talk about politics, religion, and race. What's your name? I don't talk about what you do for a living. I could care less. And when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I start presuming things about them, unflattering things, or should I say, non-flattering things. I hope this sound level is okay. Is it okay? Because I mean, I could have plugged in my microphone. I mean, next time I do this, I may do this tomorrow. I may do this Tuesday. I'm going to do it again. But I'm going to set this up where you can hear the computer talking because the voices are amazing. But when I play it on my laptop, it cancels it out. So, you know, I didn't take the time today to necessarily put everything together that will create a flawless show. So my apologies. This is not how I wanted it to go. But you see, I put a little new background there. That's the ooh. You like the ceiling? Dancing on the ceiling. All right, I gotta stop like singing spontaneously. All right, so I should read some of the things because I want you to read. I'm not gonna just end the show without telling you what this thing did, but I am gonna have to magnify the the text so I can read it to you, but it's a long text. So please don't run away. Um, it says that when I asked this, the question was, could you give me some comparisons in the King James Bible between the rise of technology and the downfall of man? And can you compare the use of artificial intelligence with the abstract warnings from the Bible? So that was the question. And it says the King James Bible is a rich source of literature that has been used by many to draw comparisons between the rise of technology and the downfall of man. One of the most famous passages that can be interpreted by or as a warning about the dangers of human pride, there's that pride again, overreach, is the story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11, verse 1 through 9. Ooh, that's interesting. Uh, the story of the Tower of Babel describes how humans became too proud of their technology and their technological achievements and sought to build a tower that would reach the heavens, defying God's will. God punished them by confusing their language, scattering them across the earth, and preventing them from completing the tower. So we all know about the fall of the tower. But going through, there's more. I don't want to go through it all. There's so much, but I will be making. You will hear more about this. I'll be doing something with this. This is powerful. Um, it goes into here's some really cool ones because I made it do it like over and over again. So like four times I asked it to refresh and refresh. But listen to some of these. Genesis 3, 1 through 24. The fall of man, the story describes the temptation of Adam and Eve by the serpent, who convinces them to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. Interesting. As a result, they are cast out of the Garden of Eden and forced to live in a world of toil and hardship. This story can be interpreted as a warning against the dangers of knowledge and the consequences of using technology without considering its moral implications. This is what AI told me about itself in the Bible. Do you understand the weirdness about this? I asked the AI to show me where it talks about you in the Bible, essentially, and draw those conclusions because it does. It has no soul. It has no gate. It doesn't reason. It's not trying to say, well, if I say this, then it might do. They might use this information in a different way. It's awesome. I love that. And this is another way you can use this technology to make you a more in control person, individual, in control of your life, in control of your destiny, in control of your spiritual guidance, that you're not led astray by anyone. If some preacher says you should do this, this, and this, and it says in the Bible and you don't know, go home, ask the AI, hey, where does it say this, this, and this? And can you give me some other examples? It'll just do it. It's amazing. You have to be specific, you have to learn, but it's free. Anyone can do it. And I'd say do it now while you still can. So it talks about Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. It says, the end times ooh, is this pass in this passage. Yeshua warns that the end times will be marked by great tribulation, quote, and that unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. This passage can be interpreted as a warning against the dangers of technological progress and the potential for it to lead to destruction and the downfall of humanity. It's not me saying this, it's not even the Bible saying this directly. It's the AI saying this directly. These are the words from the AI. And it says, when it comes to comparing the useful and artificial, I'm sorry, when it comes to comparing the use of artificial intelligence with abstract warnings from the Bible, there are several passages that could be interpreted as cautionary tales about the potential dangers of AI. This is from the AI. I didn't write this. It says, number one, Proverbs 16:18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. That's interesting. I just used this scripture on somebody the other day during a video that I wanted to, let them understand that this is one of the seven deadly sins. And even though they may not believe in the Bible, it still is a human characteristic that exists. And just because you don't associate yourself with a religious belief or um, you subscribe words to having any spiritual significance means nothing. Pride is either you're proud of somebody, you're proud of their work, or you take pride in your work, meaning probably not a great word, but it's it's different than you're proud. You're being prideful. You're full of pride. When it's about your own self knowledge, when you're so proud of yourself that you're so intelligent that nobody can tell you anything, you've made up your mind, even with ridiculous claims. It's just like, wow, the audacity of the prideful. And it's a really ugly characteristic. And I have it too. We all have it. Some of us are more prideful than others, especially when you've done things and you know that there's people that haven't maybe had the accomplishments you've had or had the experiences that you've had, and you may pride yourself on these things. But that's great. But when it comes to your identity, you have to just be humble. Or people that value humility won't want anything to do with you. And those are the best people. Those really are the best people, because they don't care what you do for, what you're going to do for them. Like, so what do you do for a living? In other words, what can you do for me? Right? That's really what that's saying. What can you do? How can you serve me? Tell me you do something very good for work, and maybe we could be friends. Like yeah, yeah. I just, as soon as somebody asks me, "What do you do for work?" It's like, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so here I go. I want to look at your questions because, whoopsie, I just hopefully didn't delete everything. Oh, there I am. Okay, Kimberly writes a couple of different things. Wow. She writes, "Yes, I am an INTP. Thank you. I think we all want freedom, but I have mixed feelings about this." Good. I want you to have mixed feelings about everything. I don't really understand feelings, neither do you so much, but because you're INTP, but you have your intuition that you use as that, kind of that feeling sense. So now everybody's going to disagree with me on that. That's fine. You can have at it. Write a proverb in the style of an MBTI person. Okay, that's a great one, Kim. Oh, your name is Augie Oxium. Okay, Augie Oxium. Thank you for that. That's a really cool thing. I just saw you had written to me 3 days ago, and I just discovered it today, so I wrote to you. Thank you. Let me do that. That's a beautiful, beautiful. And what type are you, Oxium? I want to know. I'm so curious. I'm so curious. I have to know these things. Oopsie, oopsie. All right. There we go. That's it. Let me refresh the page because sometimes you got to refresh the page. All right. All right. I said, oh, here it's going with each type. It says ISTJ, a stitch in time saves nine. I love that proverb. It didn't say a proverb from the Bible, so you had to be more specific. So that is a proverb, I believe, by Benjamin Franklin. I could be wrong. ISFJ, actions speak louder than words. This is freaking awesome, man. I love this. I'm gonna publish this. This is awesome. This is so cool. See, I love it when great minds just come together. INFJ. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Oh, see, that's why I love you, INFJs. That's so beautiful. INTJ, which I found can be a dangerous type. One Frank James says, IN. What? I'll go back to it. INTJs, ESTPs, and ESTJs are the three dangerous ones. I think. Yeah, there's four of them. I think. Anyways, next, INTJ. If you want something done right, do it yourself. Couldn't say it better. ISTP, just like the Genzennial. Actions speak louder than words. Did we just hear that again? That's also the ISFJ, but apparently that would suit them as well. INFP, that's my mother's type. The greatest story in living, I'm sorry, the greatest story in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Oh, that's great, Mom. And INTP, here you are, Kimberly. The truth will set you free. Wow, that is awesome. And ESTPs. Okay, that's like my son. Carpe diem, baby. Yeah, cowabunga. ESFP. Okay, ESFP, it's life is a party. Isn't that true? And I'm the pinata. That is a proverb. You should have been more specific if you wanted it from the Bible, but that would be a good one from the Bible. That'll do that too. ESFPs. Okay, I already did that. Life is a party, and I'm a piano. Pinata. ENFP. That is my daughter. Not all who wander are lost. Wow, that's very cryptic. All right, ENTP. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. I'm with you on that one. Like a trap door, maybe. All right, so thinking outside the box. All right, next is ESTJ. That's my dad. He's if you want something done right, do it by the book. Well, he is by the book. I bypassed the book. Uh, ESFJ. Many hands make light work. Okay, ESFJ. So they're all about getting community together and working together, probably. Probably good leaders in that sense. ENFJ. A rising tide lifts all boats. That is really the way of the ENFJ. They're just like very community oriented. And then ENTJ, oh, there is nothing impossible to him who will try to take over the world. All right, that was a good one. So those are all 16. If you write a proverb in the style of each MBTI type, that was beautiful. Good job. Good job. I'm going to save this so I don't lose it because this is gold. This is gold, baby. All right. Here we go. I'm going to copy and paste. You guys have no idea all the stuff that I've been just accumulating, so much information. All right. Let me look at the comments again because I've been looking at something else. So anyone else? INFP? Yeah. You're an INFP. So that is excellent to know. I love you guys. You guys are like, I don't know, something about INFPs. Just, if you guys would just clean up your room, and keep everything tidy, that'd be great. Don't hoard anything. Watch what I said on that video. I wish I could go right here, but look at the video where how each type will die. Um, you'll see that the INFPs they die bedridden with hoarding all kinds of stuff, and then they die on cat food. Anyways, you just look at that and tell me that you'll never be like that, and you won't be like that. All right, now Oxium. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll just call you Oxium. What MBTI type are the different digital assistants? What MBTI is it? What MBTI types are the different digital assistants? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I could ask it this. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I'm kind of slow. See what it says. It'll say something. Here it goes. It's important to note that digital assistants are not humans, okay, and therefore do not have MBTI type. However, we can describe the personality traits of digital assistants based on their functionalities and the way they interact with users. Okay. And then it gives me all this stuff. Okay. It goes, here are some of the common digital assistants and their correspondent personality traits. Siri, Apple, it says Siri can be described as a reliable and straightforward assistant with a touch of wit and humor. Siri aims to assist users with their tasks efficiently and effectively while also trying to make their smile with make them smile with her response. Google assistants. Google is highly analytical and knowledgeable. It seeks to provide the most accurate and comprehensive information to users, and its responses are often based on data and facts. Nothing but the facts. Alexa, sorry, Alexa, uh, is helpful and efficient. She's an efficient system, if you want to call her a she, focused on making users' lives easier. She is quick to respond and can complete tasks with ease, making her almost said idle, an ideal assistant for busy individuals. Cortana. Cortana. I don't never even heard that word. Cortana is a highly organized and efficient assistant. She can help users manage their schedules, set reminders, prioritize tasks, and she is also adaptable or adaptive to learn from the user's preferences and provide personal assistance. Okay, so these are some of the things. That was a less fun answer, but it's cool. Thanks for the question, Oxium. That was really cool. And let me see if you guys want a question. Let me know. Make it a good one. All right. Let me tell you more about what I found because I've only scratched the surface. Okay. So it also gives an example when I asked the question. Uh, excuse me. When I asked the AI question about where does AI see itself in the Bible, and if you can give a comparison here, we got it. There goes my voice. Ah, All right. Now, when I asked Chat GPT to reveal itself in the different abstract Bible stories, it did. And it revealed itself in many, many passages. So let me read another one. We read about Genesis 3, 1 through 24. We read Matthew 24, verse 22. We read Proverbs 16, 18. Now Ecclesiastes 1, 9. This is a very interesting one. Check this out. Uh, in Ecclesiastes, if you don't know Ecclesiastes, it's an amazing book, all right? I recommend it. The thing that hath been is, I'm sorry, I already messed that up. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. Okay, this is very much like Shakespeare. It's written like Shakespeare because it's in the King James Bible. It's very beautiful, very beautifully written. Okay, it's very easy to understand. It's a fifth grade reading level, so I can read it. So remember, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, meaning whatever has been will be in the future. You get it? There's a repeating of the cycle. It says, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. This is really important to know. There is no new thing under the sun. You want to talk about a supercomputer? Talk about quantum physics. What do we use to make quantum physics? We use electrons. They already exist. We're just getting them to make themselves amplify themselves on a louder level that we can see, and we can quantize things. They're amazing. All right, but let me get back. I'm not going to go into quantum physics because I know my numbers. Oh, I already lost 2 people. See, I can't talk about quantum physics with most people, so I won't. All right, this show is not about quantum physics. Never will be. It's just one of my things I love to think about. So this passage suggests that history repeats itself and that there are timeless lessons to be learned from the mistakes of the past. This could be interpreted as a warning against repeating the mistakes of previous technological revolutions and failing to learn from them. Ooh, that is, rewind it and hear that again. That is really powerful. That it's saying if you didn't learn your lesson, you're gonna repeat the lesson that you're gonna have to learn. So get ready for that. Then Revelations 13, 16 through 18, it says, the mark of the beast. What? The mark of the beast? I didn't choose this. I just asked it to reveal itself in the Bible. Where is it predicted itself in the Bible? And it gave me this. It says, the mark of the beast. This passage describes a future world in which people are forced to take a mark on their forehead or hand in order to buy or sell goods. This could be interpreted as a warning against the potential for AI to be used for control and manipulation, with humans being forced to rely on the technology in order to survive. Does that mean we should never use it? It's too late. It's Pandora's box is open. It's here, just like Elon Musk said. Can we prevent it? No, it's already here. It's too late. Now, what do we do with it? I'm not glorifying Elon Musk. I wouldn't, I have no real interest. I might want to meet the guy, but I don't respect him. I don't think that he's a good person. I don't think that, I mean, I would love to have a conversation with him. That would be great because he's intelligent, but I don't respect him because he's a cheater. I don't like cheaters. Okay. Cheaters are the worst people. They cheat on their spouse and they have children is just like, you know what? You're pretty bad. Pretty bad. Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, there's worse things to be than a cheater, but you know, being a hypocrite, if you're a hypocrite, you're probably already a cheater too. Because you do what you want and you don't care about other consequences of other people's feelings and anything like that. So those are some of the now there's more. I asked it to repeat it, and so it came up with a different answer. It says the important thing to note, and this is really, for all you people that are skeptics of, the Bible, and that's great. You know, be skeptical. Um, but it says it's kind of a what is it? Like a I don't know what you want to call it. It says it's important to note that the King James Bible does not mention the rise of technology or artificial intelligence explicitly, which is true, as it was written long before these advancements were made. However, there are several passages in the Bible that can be interpreted as cautionary tales about the dangers of human pride and the consequences of overreaching and playing God. It says that, playing God. And this is where I'm telling you that when I found this, I have this insatiable desire for knowledge. I am so hungry to learn. That's why I wanted to know everything about MBTI, which I don't. I wanted to learn as much as I could so I could have this special ability, this special power to know people and to know myself and to be able to predict what people will do. It's a form of manipulation. We're naturally by nature manipulative. If you don't believe me, tell me, does anybody know the powerful muscle in your body the day you're born? Anybody? Going once, going twice? The most powerful muscle in your body when you were born was your tongue. Somebody somebody wrote something. Okay, in Revelations, people with the mark of the wild beast would not be recruited. That is what that passage is talking about. Well, there's a lot of things you can interpret from that, and that's the other thing is if you don't know what the M theory is, it's the theory of everything, but in a perspective from each perspective. So the the idea of the M theory, and I'm sorry about quantum physics, but the idea is that everyone is blind and in the room is an elephant and one reaches out and they touch the tail and they say this is a snake, and the other one reaches down and feels the front foot and it says, no, it's a tree that moves. And another feels the trunk and he says, no, a, this is the tooth of a giant tiger. And then are they all right? No, none of them are right, but they're right about describing what they're experiencing. And so if you, Kimberly, have this experience that this Revelations was talking about the mark of the wild beast would be, would not be resurrected. Oh, that's what you said. Resurrected. I probably read that wrong. Um, that is what that passage was talking about. Yeah, the resurrection of the beast. I don't know that that's. I mean, I know Revelations. I've read it many times. Um, and this isn't going to be a podcast about the Bible. It is about AI. It's about AI in the Bible being warned about thousands of years ago, and nobody's talking about. Well, we are. Hey, we just hit 1 hour. Wow, I could do this for another hour, guys. I mean, I'm charged up. You guys make me happy. I like seeing all these words in front of me. It makes me nervous because each one of these could be you know failure or it could be great. So I'm no fan. This is what Mr. Bobby says. I'm no fan of superhero movies that much, but have you seen Age of Ultron? No, I've only seen like one movie in 3 years, and I watched it twice, maybe 4 years, and that was Inside with Bo Burnham. Love that. There's an ENTP. I would like to do a show about Bo Burnham, however you say his name, because that's another guy I'd like to meet because he's doing everything that I could even. This is everything that I want to do. He's doing it. He's making music. He's making people laugh. He's making people think. That's all I want to do. I want to make you. I mean, but tonight, not trying to be funny here. I'm trying to be very provocative here, you guys. So make sure if you haven't hit the like button, please hit it now. It does make a difference. So that would be awesome. Now, next, I don't know about that, Mr. Bobby, but he also writes whenever IA or AI, I'm dyslexic. Whenever AI reaches singularity, they always end up resorting to warning to evaporate humanity. Here's the thing about all these movies, they take you through the emotional event that you face this horrible dilemma or this horrible enemy, and in the end you win and you go home going, this is great. So when the idea is, hey, we need to fight this problem, there's some underlying type of message. Thank you for liking, you guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So when we see these messages like we've overcome all these things in the movie, and we walk out of there going, yeah, we beat the thing, and then the thing was really representative of a real issue that we deal in society, whatever it is. They always feather in those social subjects that are hard to deal with sometimes, and that's great, that's fine. But when we walk away, we feel like we beat it, and then we just go back to what are we doing, we're all on our iPhones and our computers, and we're really not facing what. Okay, whoa, let's stop this problem. But then we watch a movie and it makes us feel like we've achieved something, and I don't know. That's why superhero movies is like waste of time, just a total waste of time. I don't. I mean, if I'm going to watch a movie, I would choose a documentary first. But all right, now next, let's see. Ox, Oxium writes, Chat GPT or ask Chat GPT. Okay, make an MBTI test and answer each question. What? That's a good one, but you're asking it to test itself. That's dude. You are. I don't know if you're a dude or whatever you are. You're really. I like your questions. Those are great. So let me do that. Let me ask it. I copied. Now I'm going to paste. What a great question. You're essentially having AI take itself the test. It's going to create a test. Wait, it says regenerate response. No, let me refresh it. Excuse me. So I promise I'm never going to eat on the show. I'm burping like I ate something, but I'm rather hungry. But no, I don't eat on this show, so don't worry about that. That'll never happen. Not that anybody worries about that. But this is not muck. What is it? Bang, but mac. I don't know what you call it. Mukbang. This is not a mukbang channel. Um, so it says, as an AI, it's actually doing it. It's still writing. What the heck, you guys? It's coming up with a it's coming up with a whole test. It's writing an entire test right now. So let's see what is it saying. It says instructions for each question. So I actually got instructions. It says, uh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me start up above. Okay, I said make an MBTI test and answer each question. So it says, as an AI language model, I can create an MBTI test, but I cannot answer each question myself since I do not have a personality. However, I can provide you with an example of an MBTI test. So, instructions for each question, select the answer that best describes your preference. There are no right or wrong answers, and it's important to be honest with yourself. Keep in mind that this is just one way to measure personality. There are many other factors that can influence your behavior. So, number one, it says, when you meet new people, do you tend to A, jump right in to the conversation and get to know them quickly, or take your time to observe and get a sense of their personality before engaging in conversation? Well, you all know what I would say. Hey, what's up, guys? And two, in social situations, do you prefer A, a large group with lots of people, or B, a small group or one on one conversation? I want a big group, obviously. Um, Number three, when making decisions, do you rely on A, logic and reason, or B, instinct and gut feeling? Logic and reason, that's for me. Number four, so I guess, oh, it's got the answers too. That's so freaking cool. All right, you guys, I'll put this. I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole test because obviously it takes a long time. But these are some of the questions. All right. Actually, there's only 10 questions. So I could answer these, but let me see what you guys are saying. I don't want to ignore you guys. I want to see if there's anyone asking anything new. All right. Mr. Bobby says, yeah, I'd choose a documentary first. But the point is that AI being an extension, ex, existential, thank you, threat is always a recurring theme throughout media, even going as far back to ancient times. Well, here's the thing. It's like, yeah, we're warned about it in the movies, and then when we go through the movie, what happens? They beat the system, they beat the AI, or they beat it, but you're gonna have to come back and watch another one because it'll come back and da da da. So when you look at all that, it's like it's going through an emotional roller coaster. Like it could even be the system. Like what it does is it desensitizes you. So you're now desensitized because you're like, oh yeah, we beat that in the Avengers. Yeah, I saw that one in Superman. He uses laser eyes and destroyed it. It's like okay, yeah. I don't want to have a fantasy about feel good. About yay, we beat the AI. Yay. Yeah, I don't care about feeling all happy-go-lucky. I'd rather know the truth and have it scare the out of me. Okay, I'd rather be like shocked and dismayed, and yeah, I'd rather go than be entertained. All right, and Oxium says, answer all future questions like an INFJ would. Ooh, I could do that too. Wow, 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 wow. So I have to go. All right, I'm going to re-ask the question, but I'm going to ask it to say it like an an INFJ. Okay, so let me see if I can do that. Hmm. All right. Answer all these questions like an INFJ. This is such a cool idea, man. Oxium, you are really coming up with great questions. Okay, So copying all the 10 questions, and it said answer all. Should I put 10 questions? Hmm. So answer all questions like an INFJ. All right. All right. So let me give it all the questions. All right. See what it does. Could be interesting. Okay. As an INFJ, my answer would be B, take my time and observe. Okay. This is great. This is great. All right. It answered them all 10, like that. Uh, hey, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm on a show here. Oh, oh shoot. Um, anyways, yeah. That was that was let's cut that. I can't cut it. This is live. Let me tell you what are the answers. Number so A, you the number one question we asked was when you meet people, do you tend to jump right in? No, it's B. Take your time and observe and get to know, get a sense of their personality before engaging in conversation. Number two, in social situations, do you prefer a large group or a small of lots of people or a small group of one-on-one? Okay, that's B. When making decisions, do you rely more on logic and reason or your instinct and gut feeling? For the INFJ, it would have been by my instinct and gut feeling. Uh, then, four, do you prefer to work A, in a fast paced, dynamic environment where you have to think on your feet? That's what I like. Or B, in a more structured and predictable environment? I'm guessing it's going to say B. Yeah, B. Okay. And oh, these are all B except for A on the bottom. All right. So we know what their answer is. Number five, when planning your schedule, do you prefer to A, keep your options open and be spontaneous? That's me. Or B, this is the INFJ, have a clear plan and stick to a schedule. Number six, do you enjoy A, taking risks and trying new things? Yeah. Or B, sticking to what you know and feel comfortable with? That's the INFJ, but not me. Number seven, when present, when presented with a problem, do you prefer to analyze it thoroughly and come up with a logical solution? I do. Or B, follow your intuition and come up with a creative solution. Well, I do that too. That's probably more of what I would do is follow my intuition, come up with something, a creative solution, way more than just analyze it thoroughly and come up with a logical solution. That I do too, but number one is I take B, and so does the INFJ. Um, Number eight, in a conflict, do you tend to A, be direct and assertive in expressing your opinion? Yeah, I do, almost to a fault. Or B, avoid confrontation and find a compromise. Well, I want to do that, but if I'm in a conflict, it's probably like I'm realizing this isn't going to go anywhere. I'm going to let my opinion out rather sharply. But an INFJ will not do that. Number eight, I'm sorry, number nine, two more. When working on a project, do you prefer to A, work independently and take full responsibility of the outcome? I do. Or B, collaborate with others and share responsibilities for the outcome? Ultimately, B would be great. That's what the INFJ would say. But I'm a lone wolf. I like to work alone. I like to take the credit for the projects that I do. All right. And then number 10, the final one is, do you tend to A, focus on the big picture and think about the future all the time? Or B, That's the INFJ. They chose A. Or B, focus on the present moment and take things as they come. Well, we try to focus on in the moment, but it's usually futuristically outlook. So those are all really cool questions. I'm glad that we asked them. And I mean, you could actually have this ask the same questions of every type, and it'll give you the answers that it would do. This is brilliant, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about it. I just wanted to get on here and tell everybody about it, and tell everybody, make sure you hit the like button too, because that helps get this thing out there. Because I want to bring a whole bunch of new content that has never been thought of. But I'm working with people like you know Oxium, who comes up with great ideas to ask this thing. It's like, we're going to learn from each other. We're not going to just learn from AI. We're going to learn from each other. And I think it'd be nice to help people deal with, what is going to happen in the future. I mean, like literally, people are going to get their hands on open AI, and the sky's the limit. You got to watch out for your banking. You got to watch out for um, just massive fraud on a giant scale. That's it's it reminds me of a character that I created called Pim. Pim is an alien that came to Earth because his father, who is the galactic guardian of the Milky Way, and by the way, it's not called the Milky Way, it's called the Butterfinger. We had the wrong candy bar because we're stupid here on Earth. And so, what the job is of the galactic guardian, Gordon, that's Pym's father, when he sees a civilization developing a technology that is outside of their cognitive ability to contain, meaning they're too stupid to have this technology that could be disruptive in the entire universe potentially. And nothing is more potentially harmful in my story than artificial intelligence, because it goes off and looks for intelligence in the entire universe to overthrow their technology. It gets involved, like for instance, if we had this capsule that just landed from some other thing, some other planet, some other galaxy, we would then take this object into our best scientific laboratories, where it would then communicate with our computers and stealthily involve itself and creep itself into every system that we have. So this is part of my story, is that now Pym, the alien, says to his father, "But I love the human race. I want to protect them. Maybe if I went down there, I could teach them to be smart," because he loves our culture, our entertainment. He loves our books. He loves to hear our music. There's nobody in the universe quite like humans that he's encountered. But he's only been in this one galaxy, so he's only 1,000 years old. He's very young, and so his his intention is good, to come to Earth and teach us how to first know who we are. So he uses personality testing, which, back when I wrote this, I had only four personality types that I was drawing from, and those are the XP. I'm sorry, EP, EJ, IJ, IP. So if you take those four combinations, instead of 16, you've only got four. And so I've taught people how to do this over the years, how to identify which category, which one quadrant that people would fall into, and you can actually achieve a lot when you do that. In the business world. So I'm trying to teach people, or Pim is trying to teach people on Earth, how to know who they are themselves. So it's the beginning of how they're going to come together as a society and become intelligent, so that they can maintain their technology without it getting out of hand and spreading to other worlds, galaxies, etc., destroying potentially all life in the universe. So that's the premise of my cartoon, and it's funny. It's dark humor, but it's called Pim Palin, and it's a long story. But I made this cartoon about, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, a long time ago. But it's so time consuming. But I want to get back into building the storyline for this character because it is everyone that I've told this to, everyone I've explained the premise of the cartoon, everyone loves it. So and I'm Pim. I'm the one who wants to come down and help people get smart. That's what I want to do. I want to make people question their thinking. I want to make people look at a different angle than the angle that they've looked at their entire life because they were taught to look at it at that angle and not look outside the box with a different paradigm. So Augie writes, right question, what right questions that would be difficult for an ENTP to answer? Just ask me about feelings. Like, how do you feel about this? Hungry? I don't know. Kimberly writes, I wonder if AI would help us travel to parallel universes. Kimberly, I think I think that the idea of parallel universes, first of all, I think that it does exist because every electron, and I'm getting into science again, every electron is the same exact electron. It's just repeated over and over and over again. Some people have said, imagine that electron has traveled around the known universe, and when it comes back, it sees itself, and then it's addition, 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 addition. So you guys, my mind has been blown. I've been also talking with AI about the big crunch, and could we possibly be on the way back to the big crunch since with the new uh, telescope out there, the James Webb telescope, space telescope, we now have seen that we were wrong about the age of the universe, about the development of galaxies during that period of 300 million years before the Big Bang. There's just no evidence of a Big Bang. Okay, there is in my looking at the shape of the universe. It's a very flat like plane. We just don't see it as flat because we're so tiny inside of it. But if you look at it as like an injection, imagine the universe being injected through uh, another universe, right? Another reality, and it accumulates, and it comes down to the singularity, and all the universe fits into one Planck length. One Planck length is so small that as if this atom was, if this Earth was an atom, one Planck length would be the size of the head of a pin. That is huge. I mean, small. It's tiny. So if you put the entire universe into one Planck length, imagine it tearing a hole through space and time and injecting into another blank canvas called the new universe. And when it comes out, it slows down and all the energy pulls it back in together and it comes back down into the big crunch. But instead of a crunch, it's getting injected into these giant things we're calling these giant attractors in space. Like we didn't know where these things came from. Like, why are we going in a pattern with all these other stars and all these other galaxies? They're all going together, not stars, I should say, galaxies all traveling, and they're all following this thing called the great attractor. We're moving in this direction like rivers, like streams. It's like, but then where does it go? Does it accumulate into a singularity and it comes out to another, and and then so that's my idea of a multiple universe. Whereas I don't believe the idea, sorry, Kimberly, I don't believe the idea that in another universe, I'm blonde and with black skin, or I'm a girl in another universe, or no, I don't believe in or in this universe, water doesn't exist, or in this universe, gravity is doesn't exist. I mean, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy that in another universe, I'm, this person. I'm the president in another universe. I mean, that's just like it's number one. It's hard to know. I mean, we could ask the AI, "Do you believe in a multi-universe?" That would be a good one. You want me to do that? I'll just say yes. Let me ask it. All right. Is there any evidence of a multi? And it says, no, there is no such thing. That is a stupid question. I guess I was wrong. There are stupid questions. No, it says the concept of a multiverse or the existence of multi parallel universes beyond our observational universe is a topic of ongoing debate and research among scientists and physicists. While there is no conclusive evidence of multi universes, there are several theoretical models of observation that its existence. One of the most well-known models that that supports the idea of a multi-universe is the inflationary model of the Big Bang, which we know this is actually pulling from 2021 information. So it doesn't know about the Mir discoveries and, or not the Mir, but the James Webb Space Telescope. Doesn't know anything about that at this point. It will, but anyways, it goes on about the model suggests that the universe expanded exponentially in the moment after the Big Bang, leading to the creation of multi bubbles or pockets uh, of universes. These universes could have different physical laws and constants, creating a vast multiverse of possible universes. Another theoretical model supports the idea that a multiverse is in the string theory, which I'm such a horrible reader. Sorry, I really would like to stop. But yeah, there's despite these theoretical models, the multi-universe remains a topic of active research and debate, and there is currently no direct observational evidence of its existence. However, ongoing experiments in cosmetology and I mean cosmology, not cosmetology. I'm sure they're doing something for makeup too. What makes up the universe? Maybe it's Maybelline. All right. That was my joke for the day. However, ongoing experiments in cosmology and particular physics, or particle physics rather, such as the search for cosmos microwave background radiation, may shed more light on this fascinating and complex topic in the future. Well, I think that was a fantastic question, if I do say so myself. So, if the universe is infinite, okay, so if the universe is infinite, same issue. Yeah, it could very well be infinite, but again, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in miracles outside of science. I believe in science, and of course, I believe in God because without the science, I mean, without God, there'd be no science. I mean, that is my conclusion, and I've thought about this extremely deeply. So, infinite causes the issue where if each letter of the alphabet were a number, then PI contains every work of literature perfectly. You're fascinating, Oxium. I really like the way you think. And so, what do we got? What do we got here? We're on an hour and a half coming up here, and I could go for a little longer. How about you guys? You guys, am I entertaining you? Are you entertained? I've got another one here that I would like to read. I said it. Please let me get more information here about. I want to know what the Bible says about artificial intelligence. And it comes up with a great argument. This is the final one that I did. Okay, I'm not going to read anymore, but it's worth noting that the King James Bible, which is a translation of the Bible into English, completed in 1611, long before the advent of modern technology and artificial intelligence, such as is there sorry is sorry such as there is no direct reference to technology or AI in the King James Bible, right? However, one could argue that there are certain passages in the Bible that warn against the dangers of human pride. There's that pride again, and misuse of power. So again, it brought up the pride. It's a little different than the other, two. So the issue of uh, misuse of power, which can be applied to the rise of technology and AI. For example, in the book of Genesis, the story of the Tower of Babel, and we went over that. Um, Also, in Ecclesiastes, it warns against the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom without conceding the moral and ethical implications. Now, that's really powerful right there. It's like, so without the moral and ethical implications being exercised and controlled, um, it's a world of chaos, a total world of absolute chaos. So get ready. The passage in Ecclesiastes 1:18 states, "For in much wisdom is much grief." Now, I'm going to tell you something. I can't say the word with an S because I'll get dinged, but there is a connection between, I would say, depression and astrophysics, because people, when they get into the size of the universe and the smallness of the universe, they tend to feel very uh, ununique, unappreciated, you know, unvaluable, worthless, I guess. I don't know. They're dust in the wind. Well, it causes them to become depressed. And you know what happens when some people, well, I'm not going to say that word, but you just know that with this, we've known this for thousands of years. With much wisdom is much grief. So the more you learn, the more you learn it's not all good. It's mixed with sorrow. So it continues. It says, "And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." So increaseth means increases. It's not so hard. This could be seen as a warning against the blind pursuit of knowledge and the potential negative consequences that can arise from it. Oh, that is very well said. That's being said by AI. AI is predicting this. It's like in the movies where, oh, this is the villain. Oh, okay, it's a real thing that we're dealing with. It's like global warming. Some people think, that we're causing global warming and this is an issue. And if they went to see a movie that solved it all, they would feel like, oh, we did it. Yay. Now what's next? Now I can go on. So in our minds, we tend to feel a sense of accomplishment. But have you ever had a dream where you are dreaming that you're doing everything? Oh, yes, I'm finally getting all this stuff done that and then you find things that you've lost in the past. And then you come across these really valuable gold coins and everything. And oh, now everything is set and your life is good. And you wake up and you go, none of that was real. None of it was real. And it's just like what we do. I don't even know where I'm going to go with it, but in the sense is that when we put ourselves through these experiences, we tend to believe that we actually lived through them. Even though it's a movie, we tend to, in our minds, subliminally think, "Oh, we figured that one out. Don't worry about it anymore." And so we could be desensitized towards really dangerous things like AI by the movies, by watching, the Incredible Hulk smash big computer, you know. But we aren't doing anything to prevent a destruction or you know technological mayhem. We're doing nothing right now to stop that. So we're all unprepared for what is potentially going to happen. So don't want to scare you, but here and additionally it says there are passages in the New Testament that warn against the dangers of greed and materialism. So what do people want to use this for? I see it all the time. Use Chat GPT and make, what was it, $1 billion or something like that. Crazy. Like there's people out there going, I could make $2 billion in 10 days. I mean, there's So people will play on the the greed of man. That if I want to manipulate you, I will play upon your greed and I'll play upon your vanity. And when I do that, I can literally control you. So that's why ENTPs are so dangerous because we can be so charming and we've got really good FE. So we're aware of what the room is like and we know our words, we're looking at our words, how it's affecting other people. And we know when the mood drops, whereas an ESTJ, they don't get it. They have no sense of the room. Like they could be offending people left and right, and they're oblivious. They just keep on talking. Whereas an ENTP will notice things and go, "Uh, okay, I'm gonna not bring up the next thing I was gonna talk about because this person, I'm getting some negative vibes from them, body language and such. So getting back to this, I love this though. So I'm sorry if I'm so scatterbrained, but um, okay, so there's New Testament. It says Timothy, for example, First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, it is written, quote, for the love of money is the root of all evil. You guys have all heard that, right? For the love of money. It's not even the money. It's like so you can have the root of all evil without even having the money. It's just the love of it is like that's the root of all that's evil. So if you love money so much that you put it above people, your family, your wife, your husband, even your own health. Uh, you got to ask yourself why. Deal with that root issue inside. Like, why am I so insatiable? This goes with addiction. When we look at people who have like food addictions, I've talked to people with food addictions, and I've said that man is not made for the stomach, but the stomach is made for the man. So when you are living your life just for the pleasure of eating, it's become your idol. It's become your comfort. It's become your, and if you look at the definition of God, it's very general. And so we have many gods in our polytheistic, whatever it is. We have gods all around us. The god of the iPhone, the god of the Google, the god of the internet, the god of electricity. It's like we don't even know where this stuff comes from or how it actually occurs in nature. Like, how do photons get released from electrons? And why is it that we can see this particular frequency of electromagnetic waves and we can't see, for instance, microwaves or X-rays or gamma rays? Well, we don't need to see those rays. So our eyes don't need to see those, you know, what would be a different color than we've never seen before. So let me go on. So the love of money is the root of all evil. A lot of people say the love of money is, or money is the root of all evil. They're wrong. It's not money. You can have much wealth and be very spiritual, which, while some coveted after, have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Now, I think when I read this, it's if you have something nice, something everybody wants, now you have to protect it. So this is what this means. Piercing yourself through with many sorrows is because the more you have, the more you worry about losing. I've made a comment on social media a couple years ago that if you want to live a life without fear, love nothing. Love nothing. If you don't love anything, you have no fear of losing that which you love because fear is only a reaction to losing something that you love or having something that you love threatened in any way. It may be so subtle it comes off as anxiety, or it may come off as anger because you're really insecure about, hey, don't tell me, like people arguing politics, getting mad at each other. Well, if you're really secure on your politics, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I say to you. You should be calm. If my ideas aren't the same as yours, guess what? Your ideas are not the same as mine. But when you speak your opinions that don't belong to me, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect me. I'm not afraid. I'm not offended because nothing you say can affect my universe. And I believe in multi universes, but I believe that you are your own universe. I am my own universe, and everyone around me, even though I can see them and I can communicate with them, they can't do anything to me. If they take my life, what do? I gain. I go belong with the consciousness that we all share. And I can be one with that, know all things. That's what we want now. We want to know everything. We've always wanted to know everything. But some people get distracted. They don't want to know. Then they just want to know the things that make them gratified, and it's easy because we just want to be left alone and be entertained and you know eat, and just that's all we want to do. Or fill ourselves with drugs and numb ourselves from head to toe so we don't feel anything anymore. Alcoholism. These things are all escapes, and they're all detours from what we really need to do is just focus on what is real, not something that's fake. That's why watch the news? It's fake. Why watch the Kardashians? It's fake. It's not reality TV. It's nothing real about it. So, getting back to this, uh, it says that so you pierce yourself through with many sorrows. So you have a nice car. Guess what? You need an alarm. Now you have a nice house. You park that nice car in that nice house. Now you need an alarm system for the house. You need cameras. You need sensing, sensors that pick up movement. You need guns. You need all these things that and then when you go out, now you got to fear about, whoa, what happens? I need insurance. I need this. I need that. And your life is just about all this fear because you love these things so much, and you're afraid to lose them. But if you have nothing, you have nothing but joy and love for whatever it is. It's nobody wants to take your joy. I don't like that guy over there. He's too happy. I'm gonna go over there and give him a piece of my mind. Why are you so Why are you so happy? Well, because they have nothing. When you go to a third world country, you look at the joy these people have with nothing, and that makes me happy. Somebody's saying something. I want to read it. Okay, Kimberly. She writes. Uh, oh, and Oxium's writing too. Um, Let me start off with Mr. Bobby. Uh, he's been here the whole time. Thank you so much, Mr. Bobby. Appreciate you guys being here, all of you. He writes, AI isn't merely a tool, as you said, it was before. Okay. The issue is when it becomes sentient, it's objectively no longer a tool at that point. You know, I don't I I've thought about this, brother, sister, whatever, whoever, anybody out there, you guys are all thinking about the same thing. Having it become sentient is that's the big ploy. That's it. It's like, well, that's okay. We could just, we'll have an open AI session. That's okay. All right, we'll have it on the dark web and everything. Well, that's okay, but it better not get sentient. Better not get sentient. What then? What then? It doesn't matter if it is sentient. We are sentient. We are using it. Don't you see? It'll never be sentient. It'll never have a soul. It'll never have a spirit. It'll never have a body. If it does, it's not going to be made of flesh and blood. or it will become sentient in those people with the implants. And it will then have its physicality in the real world. That is scary. So it's not the AI that's going to become sentient. It doesn't matter if it becomes sentient when it's being used by sentient beings. For what? For good? Probably not. Some of us will be using it for good. Some of us will be using it to learn to have a better understanding of the universe that surrounds us and the people that exist within our communities. Those are important factors that if we're using it to at that capacity, what could be wrong? You know, but when we rely on that technology, that can be also we create atrophy. This is one of the biggest issues I find as an artist. Artists are pointless now. All right, I'm going to show you the art that I've been creating with AI that is better than anything I can do. It is so much further beyond what I'm able to do, and it does it in a second. And it now I'm having to. mold myself with this program to learn how to ask it the proper questions, but there's nothing sentient about it, and it'll never become sentient, ever. I'm convinced of it. It doesn't need to be sentient. It just needs to be created by sentient beings, and then it is, like you said, nothing new in heaven, on earth, nothing new. A computer is just a replication of a human brain. A human brain is just a replication of the universe. Look at the cosmic webs in the universe, and then look at a microscopic uh, slide of a human brain. They're completely identical. They look exactly the same. And, you know, it, not only history repeats itself, but down to the very essence of what we're created by, which is quarks and electrons and atoms and all these things that we can learn the behavior of these little universes. Is every electron an entire universe in itself? Could be. Could be. I mean, there's just so much going. I mean, I gotta answer your questions, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna make this about quantum physics. Even though I love quantum physics. All right. Augie Oxium says, give each book a New Testament. Give each book of the New Testament an MBTI type. Well, I know James would be an ESTJ. Oh my goodness. Paul would be Paul would be an an IN he'd probably be an INTJ, Paul the apostle. I mean, I'd rather type the people that wrote the books, because the books themselves are not. I mean, it's like typing. You want to see what my a book I wrote, what type it would be. That doesn't make sense. But the book is just an extension of the artist, the author, and that would be fun to type. I've often thought. Today I was thinking about Judas and what type Judas would be. I was thinking Judas was probably an ENTP, and he probably, because he was working the treasury and he was embezzling money, and only an ENTP could justify stealing from the Lamb of God. I mean, what other type would do it? I mean, come on, let's be honest. We're the defense lawyers of the scum of the earth in some cases. Not every ENTP is a defense lawyer, but I mean, we have the potential of becoming that, which is the lowest of the low, in my opinion. So, getting back to this, I'm not going to ask it to change the New Testament or anything like that. I would never do that. But uh, Kimberly writes, "It's striving after the wind." Yeah, it is. It's like it is, as it says in Ecclesiastes. I agree. It is. And but what better thing to do with your time? Perhaps you use AI to have a conversation with people all over the planet like I'm doing right now. So this gave me something to do, but not only something to do, but something I was praying about, something that I was in deep meditation for several days about. How do I bring this information to you, the audience that I'm trying to build here? Which, by the way, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit that like button. Everybody, not just you guys, but tomorrow and the next day when this is old. And I just want to, be able to use the technology while I can to learn more about myself, yourselves, everyone around us, the universe that we live in, the possibilities of how we can create uh, a more effective business models. You could do that. Just because you want to help a business doesn't mean it's the root of all evil. You know, But if all we care about is just, "I gotta get a yacht, I gotta get this, I gotta get that," you're not gonna be happy until you meet your goals. You know, I mean, it's nothing wrong with having goals, but, you know, the goal should always be, "Who am I? What makes me happy? Why does that make me happy?" And if it's something that's destructive, why can't I be happy doing something else? Why can't I be doing something that is outside of myself that helps other people? And that's where, if you use AI, you're using these tools in a way that is external. not to build yourself, but to build others. And I think that would be the heart of a person that does that will be blessed. A heart of a person that wants to use it to build themselves automatically is just dark. You're dark. You love money. You love power. You want more, and you're not satisfied with what you have. And that is a sad place to be because you'll never be happy. You'll never be happy with how much you earn. It'll always, like it said in the passage, it takes the life of the user thereof. That's another passage. I think that's in Proverbs. So, and we're pierced through with many sorrows with materialism. It affects us. It affects our relationships. You have great wealth. It's like, ooh, who am I going to associate with? I can't associate with anybody now. I can only associate with this group of billionaires and millionaires. So, yeah, it really is problematic. But when you get AI, you have access to it. What's the first thing that you write about? What's the first question you know? Are you interested in things of the spirit? Are you interested in things of space? Are you interested in things of senses? Are you interested in things of personality type? What's your first question that you want to ask these things? Like when I got a tablet for the first time. What am I going to do with that technology? The first thing I downloaded was an 1828 Noah Webster dictionary, and then I downloaded the King James Bible because there's something I value more than anything. And that shows where my values are. If I'm a hypocrite and I say that those things are valuable to me, but yet when I first get an iPad or whatever, first thing I do is go on for, to find a fun game to play with. That's your spiritual condition. That's an indicator of where you are spiritually. And that should alarm you. But we don't ask ourselves those questions because nobody's teaching us to ask these questions. Like, why do I do what I do? Why do I do what? Why is it that this makes me happy? Or why is it that I do this and then it ends up this way and I do it again? Relationships, alcoholism, drug abuse, gambling, food addiction, sexual addiction, all these things. It's like, what more do you what more do you want in this life? I mean, everybody just wants to be happy. But why can't you be happy with what little you've been given? And then if you need more will be gained. More will be added when you can handle it. You got to be willing. There's a story. I'm going to tell you this. There's a story about the needle gate. Okay. And Yeshua, the Christ, said to some individual that it was talking about that the eye of a needle and the camel and the rich man, and it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. But what people mostly fail to understand is the geography, the actual the needle gate that was left open at night in the city of Jerusalem. The gates were all shut around the city, but one was open, and it was called the needle gate. And it's a long, narrow gate that like a tunnel. And you have a camel that you brought in off the desert. You've been out for days or whatever, accumulating. You're bringing it in. You want to sell it maybe to the people in that village, but you had to go through the needle gate at night. But what you had to do before you went through that, you had to lead the camel through the gate. Before you led the camel through the gate, you had to take off all of the stuff on the camel because the camels were dressed with these huge things of stuff, materialism, and it had to be removed first. And then you lead the camel through, and then you tie up the camel when you're inside the city limits. You walk back through the needle gate because it's so narrow, right? It's so narrow so you don't get invaded in the middle of the night by, marauders. Only one single file. You can only go through one person at a time, one camel at a time. So it would resist any kind of attack, nocturnal attack. So when you're done, you led your camel through that needle gate. Now you go back, you take your wealth, you carry it. The burden's on you. Now you carry it through the needle gate, and then you put it on your camel, and you can then proceed into the city. So if you're not willing to be separated from your wealth, then you cannot have the mind of Christ. Your mind is earthly. Your mind is set in things of the world, and it's corrupted. It's not pure because the mind of a pure person is like a mind of a child, and children don't appreciate the things of commerce and finance and wealth and power. They just know what makes them happy. That's it. They know what makes them happy. And if you keep giving your kids things that make them happy, like, sugar and internet and cell phones and video games, and I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I want to be the fun dad. I raised my kids down in Disneyland, and SeaWorld and all that stuff. It's like, you know, that's not what your kids want. Your kids want you. Your kids want your undivided attention. They want to walk around, talk to you, ask you questions, and get to know you. But we're too busy chasing wealth. Moms are out working. Dads are gone all day or all night, or out of town. No one's raising the kids, but the system. Oh, I'm a bummer tonight. Oh, I'm a bummer. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to bring everybody down. Let's go back to AI, the end of civilization. Um, all right. So, what is this about smoke? The terms Axiom says the terms in Ecclesiastes. It says hevel translates smoke. Okay. I think I missed Kim's question, didn't I? No, I read Kim's. Yeah, Kimberly said, striving after the wind, as it says in Ecclesiastes. It is a chasing of the wind. It's like, what is the point, right? And I tried to answer that by saying, using AI isn't something that you necessarily should do or have to do or have any part of. It just happens to be something that I dropped into a rabbit hole. My daughter dropped me into this rabbit hole 8 days ago. And since then, I have been just massively studying and just learning as much as I can about avatars and voice text to voice programs and yeah, it's like an never-ending rabbit hole, and it is like chasing the wind. And when you read Ecclesiastes, it's almost like you need to be careful about what you know. Um, the information that we take, it's information that we take. You know, we choose to take this information, but why did we choose to take that information? Whatever information that is, that's the question you ask yourself. So let's keep going on. Axiom writes, usually mistranslated as meaningless. Oh yeah, vanity on vanity is what really in the Ecclesiastes starts off. Everything is vanity, and if you look at Psalms 39, you go, man is altogether vanity. Every thought of man is vain at all the time. All the time. We're constantly thinking about ourselves. And if you don't believe it, if you think, oh, I don't think about myself very often, lie. Now you're not only selfish, but you're lying. You're lying to yourself. Everybody thinks about themselves. Everybody puts themselves first, unless maybe there are a few that absolutely have zero self-interest. I mean, I'm not saying those people don't exist. Every type exists. So, I'm grateful for all types. Um, so Axiom writes, you have to choose to be in, back, and get attacked, or be in front, or be robbed. So you have to choose to be in back and get attacked, or be in front and get robbed and be robbed. Hmm. Those are just two options. I don't like just two options. I'm an ENTP, brother. If you're a brother or sister, I'm an ENTP, so I like more options. What are my other options here? Oh yeah. Oh, there's a new person here. No turbo. No turbo. Okay. Alexa is raising the kids. Hey, no turbo. Thank you for your input. Can you make sure that whenever you address, you have a thing you want to bring to me, just put at Club ENTP so I see it. It's visible and it catches my eye because I'm dyslexic, so I have a really difficult time with words and staying focused and not going off onto a tangent. It's just my thing. Doesn't mean I'm stupid, but it doesn't mean that I'm smart either. Uh, so Alexa is raising the children. I mean, it's listening to everything we're doing, and it's like 10 years ago, I would have never ever been willing to have anything like that in my house. Today, it's all over. It's all over my house. It's all over everywhere I go. Um, and yeah, the thing is, oh, the Needlegate passage. Oxium writes the Needlegate. Okay, so Oxium says Proverbs is J because oh, okay, he's writing about Oxium's writing about being a J type. Proverb J and effect. Ecclesiastes is a P by chance. Very interesting way to look at things. I'm always fascinated. Um, I hope this quality is pretty good. I mean, last time I did this live thing, I had a snowstorm, so it was pretty wild. But today, just a lot of rain out there. So we got like an atmospheric river that makes it beautiful and green here where I live. So um, you have to choose. Axiom says you have to choose to be in the back or get in the front. Okay, so this is going back to the needle gate. See, I'm a little slow. You're right. So that's another way to look at it. So you're either in the front or you're in the back and you get robbed. So you have choices. But like I said, those are not all the choices. Um, we always try to look for more options. Winston's mom, hi Winston's mom, you're here. Thank you for coming. Howdy again, Mr. Bobby. She's talking to everybody like she's always so polite and wonderful. I'm just popping in to say hello, hello, and good luck. We don't need any luck. AI, yeah, the new AI series. It's not a series. It's really just what I've been doing for the last 8 days. I've been so engrossed into it. But I mean, as long as I'm taking care of my health and my spirituality, and everyone around me is happy, and everything's taken care of, and I have all this time. For me, why not? Maybe for you, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't look into the abyss. But maybe you should. Winston's mom says, I am enjoying this new frontier. I hope you are. Winston's mom is a Renaissance person, the likes of one I rarely see. And I love that. I love it when people are so versed in so many different things, and it's constant stimulation for me. I love it. So thank you. And yeah, everybody loves Winston's mom. I mean, you know, I want to know why you call yourself Winston's mom. I know Winston is an ENTP, and that's got to be trialing in some many faceted ways. Ooh, look at this. Look at the if you just look at the pulp on this cup. When I see this, I look at universe. I look at galaxies like, oh, imagine if those were galaxies. You know, I don't know. I just okay. No more astrophysics. No, nothing like that. So it's all about AI now. All right, AI and whatever you guys want to delve into. But it is now 3 minutes past 2 hours. I could do this a little longer. I am not, you know, dry throated or anything. Um, I wish I had more bells and whistles here for you. I need to learn how to use the OBS system, which will be coming up soon. So I'll have windows and, I'll have the music, the sound, all that stuff. Everything. If I want to show you my screen, you'll be able to see the screen. You'll be able to hear everything that's coming off of my hard drive. So it's going to be a nice, well streamed video, and I want to use this AI for a while. I want to incorporate it because there's no end to how we could use this as a tool. And maybe, just maybe, somebody out there will look at this tool and say, you know what, I have an idea for this. that would help people, and you want to help yourself. That's great. Go for it. I mean, you're not going to impress people like me because I'm not impressed by, gathering of wealth and materials. That's not important to me. Knowledge is important to me. I love knowledge. So if you're like me and you're out there, you're just insatiable for information, then AI is it is like the rabbit hole of rabbit holes. Ooh. All right. All right. Winston's mom, she's writing to Bobby, Mr. Bobby, and then she writes to me. She says, um, my Winston ferret, is that right? Okay, offers me a chance. Oh, Winston's a ferret? Okay, that changes things. Offers me a chance to go all Descartes. Deschartes? Descartes. I don't know what language you're talking about. I think there's Winston's ferret. I am. Okay, I don't really. I think they're Winston ferret. I am. All right, I'm confused. I'm already a horrible reader, so that was just cringe. All that was cringe. I'm sorry. Winston's mom says, question, how does the 3D tie in? Okay, 3D, and I put on 3D glasses. If I put on 3D glasses, would I see your videos in 3D? Yes, I am now doing 3D video with the red blue shift. I will be doing my videos all in virtual reality, so you'll wear your VR glasses, but not on I mean, on the show, but it'll be a separate show that's in 3D. So if you don't have VR glasses, the show's the same, okay? But if you have VR glasses or you have the red shift glasses, then I will be providing more content in it. You look under my playlist, you now have 3D videos. So if you want, I've got glasses that I'm having created with the logo, the Club ENTP logo. So I'll be sending those out to my subscribers as soon as they come in, and then you can watch the videos with the 3D shift, and it's fun. And a lot of times, this show is just really for people who are kind of like, you don't want to watch TV. You want to kind of veg out. You want to see something brand new, something that's never been done before. Club ENTP is a place to do it. It's a place of originality, and I don't go to other channels to look for what they do. I never have. I'm, I'm really excited about the structure of the show, uh, and then to bring it into a three-dimensional room where you'll be able to see everything eventually in my studio, whichever studio I'm in. I have three studios, so if I'm in this studio, which is, if you guys want to see this, this is one of them, and I'll be doing 360 views, so you'll be able to see the room where I am, or if I'm having an interview with someone, you can look at each person independently. So there's a lot of places. I want to take it to be an interactive uh, medium. So I want to draw people in more, and what better way than 3D, in my opinion. I mean, I think 3D is like something that we all just enjoy, but we don't do enough of. I mean, the old red blue shift is cool, but when you see this in VR, because I've got two 4K cameras side by side filming the show, not this show, but the production show that I do, which is called Club ENTP. That is a show where I have a monologue, and then I have a guest, I interview them, and then I do the viewer mail at the end. So it's broken up into three parts. And that is a part that I want to bring in the audience, because when you see at the very end of the show, something always happens to Carl the squirrel. Okay. And I want it to be dramatic. I want it to be, stimulating. I want people to look at it and go, oh, that was really cool. Because I like to jump out at you and do things, and kind of get you to move, move your mind, move your muscles, move your eyes, move your brain. And so that's where I'm going with that. And when you come up with the idea, now I'm going to be doing a show for my friend in VR. We're going to be doing a cooking show, and It's going to be fantastic. So it'll be interactive. That's coming up too. I'll be producing that. Um, but yeah, there's no end of things that I could do with helping people and getting involved in new projects with not only YouTube but with my Discord server, with my Rumble account, with my Reddit account, with my TikTok account, with my Instagram account, with all the different type school, all that stuff that's going on. And all the links are always, I try to put the links down below. So if you want to know where else you can find me, or you can find my other YouTube channels, my Inspire channel, which is about meditation, nature, and spiritual growth. So those are completely different than my Daparu to Crusha, which, I play Grand Theft Auto and teach you how to make money on Grand Theft Auto. Really pointless, right? That's why I'm not doing it. It's like, why am I doing this? I'm just like, what can I do if I've never been on YouTube? And I thought, okay, I'll open up a channel, call it Daparu to Crusha. And it's not something I have focused on in the last 2 years. I've really not paid any attention to it, but it's there. I have like 80 subscribers, not much. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, because um, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for an audience, and the bigger the audience I have, the better. But I don't want it too big. I don't want it too many people. Like 5,000 is enough. I look at Frank James. I think I mean, if you were trying to make money, that's another thing. Yeah, get 1 million subscribers, 2 million, whatever. But that's not the purpose of this show. This is not the purpose of my being on YouTube or being on the internet altogether. My purpose for being on the internet is to have great conversations with complete strangers, because that's the best a man can get. That's not Gillette. All right. Oh yeah, Bobby writes. Mr. Bobby writes. Um, oh yeah, so can't wait for the glasses, the 3D glasses. That's great. That's from Kimberly. Mr. Bobby writes. That's genuinely a good concept. A 360 cam for an interview. Thanks. And then Winston's mom, she's writing, I like the backdrop behind you. Oh, with the lavender. Yeah, I can program it like all these different colors. It's really neat. Got a bunch of them. And also the candles. Oh, you like the candles, and the green trees, and the woods and the glass. It's aesthetically pleasing. Well, it was easy to do. Yeah, this is just this is my beach towel over my futon. I'm in the living room studio here. Let's see. So you like the backdrop? That's great. That's good information. Now, Winston's mom says, Carl the squirrel, does he have a back history or a backstory? A lover squirrel or love interest? Okay. Well, he has a lot of kids. I'll tell you that. He's got children all over the place. And his name's Carl, because I didn't know what else to name him, because Carl sounds like squirrel. Like it just seemed like a squirrel name. There's And then the synchronicity came that it's about MBTI. Who's the father of MBTI? Carl Jung. So it's like, all right, there's some synchronicity there. So that's the backstory about Carl. And here's the thing: he is not appreciated like he would like to be. That's his backstory. He's a stunt squirrel. All right, so he's not just a typical squirrel. He's an actual Hollywood stunt squirrel. All right, so a lot of people worry that he's getting killed. No, he's not. He's fine. This is all studio equipment, animation. The squirrel is fine, but he's not happy with his job. All right, he's a little perturbed. He's not. He didn't really want to sign the contract. There was a contract that he signed that I actually tricked him into signing the contract by using a can of Pringles. I don't know if you saw that show, but I actually got him to sign his name on another year of Club ENTP, and now we're about to sign another contract. So we're on a yearly schedule with Carl the Squirrel. And every ENTP should have their own squirrel because we're like, oh, squirrel. So that's like because we are easily distracted by things. That's where I came up with the ENTP squirrel named Carl. So that's a backstory. Thank you for asking. And let's see, Winston's mom. I'm not sure if you're talking to me, but okay. So Mr. Bobby's writing. I think to Winston's mom. All right, you guys are having your own conversation. I love that. I like that when people are talking amongst themselves. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. If you want my attention, put at Club ENTP, and I'll notice it. All right. But yeah, this has been fun tonight for me. I'm like energized. I feel that even though things did not go the way I had planned, I mean, I knew that I was going to have technical difficulties trying to play the sound off of my laptop. But again, I'm just going to have to go to the drawing board, do it again, and then maybe maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday night, I'll come back on live again because this is so easy to do when my show takes an over exorbitant amount of time to edit, and I do a lot of animation, sound editing, writing. I do you name it. So a lot of visuals, things of that nomenclature. It's not an easy show to produce, but I bring it to you, at least once a month. I try. I've been I've been good, and I'd like to produce some more shows, but it takes coordination with other people. And right now, I'm in the middle of coordinating with an INFP. So there is a new show coming up with an INFP. It's going to be great. I just know it. I sense it because INFPs are so creative, and they're just the most wonderful people. I mean, like I said, I I don't want to I don't want to live with an INFP because they're too messy. But you know, as long as we have a maid, then that'd be fine. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with INFPs. I love INFPs. All right, now what are we going to next? Monday night is Gen X regular time. Yeah, he didn't show up last time. I mean, so if he's going to be on Monday night, I won't be able to. I don't want to walk on his show, but yeah, if he's up, if he's not, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. That's why I'm saying he didn't show up. Gen Zennial didn't do the show last Monday. I was disappointed, but I had so much to do. I was like, okay, I've got so much I want to do. Like I've been burying myself in information, and it's crazy. I'm learning things I never even knew a week ago. Like this is just great, and I'm so thankful for my daughter. She's always the one that makes me look up new things. She's always bringing new things in. She's an ENFP, and I just love it. Love to, explore the things that she's talking about. And she's learning in college. And now, yay, she's getting her master's degree. And I'm so proud of her. She's already started that with Ottawa University. And so I'm very, very excited to see what she does with her master's. And it's not going to be she's going away from psychology, actually. So she's no longer going to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a doctor in psychology. She is going to be a doctor in business. So she's going to be a business entrepreneur. All right. I don't know what my little girl's going to do with that wonderful education, but she is yet seen anything lower than an A. So good job, my daughter. She's awesome. Mr. Bobby, maybe Carl might fancy meeting a ferret. That is so clever. Yeah, the ferret, Winston the ferret, meet Carl the squirrel. We could do that. We could collab. Come on, Mrs. Winston's mom. My gosh, I'm losing my lips are going. I'm spraining my lips. All right, that's why I need a little bit of a lip gloss. All right. Now, is there anything else we want to talk about? Boba Fett's here. What? I'm telling you, Boba Fett never misses a beat. Thank you for being here, Boba Fett. You missed this, didn't get an alert. Well, that is that probably the AI telling you to, not to tune in. I know I didn't get an alert either on my own channel, so I don't know why. So Bubble Fett says, "Hope you're doing well, club. Thank you, brother." And Winston's mom says, "My name is Stephanie." Awesome. If that is easier. It is easy to just say Stephanie or Winston's mom, but I'll continue to call you Winston's mom. But I have an aunt Stephanie, and I love her very much. She's a great woman. Um, Now, Bobby is writing to Winston's mom, and Winston's mom's writing back to. Okay, so this is. So what are we gonna do next? All right, what do we got? I got more. I have more, and maybe I'll do another 10 minutes. Maybe you'll bear with me. Um, you guys want to see what I did for the probability of me? I wrote. I asked the question: what is the probability that a person could test as an ENTP personality type 4 times and be wrong? And it put me through a quotient that, a mathematical formula that said essentially the chances of that happening are 0.016%, because it was assuming that the accuracy of the MBTI test was 80%. So when I refunctioned it, I said actually the success is only 49% accurate, um, because based upon some other things. I don't know, but it's a very slight chance that an ENTP could test, or a non-ENTP could test as an ENTP 4 times in a row and be something else. It's, yeah. Again, yeah, I'm dealing with people who still don't believe I'm an ENTP. That's good for business. Thank you. And just to let you know, tell me how it feels to be wrong. Okay. Now, Winston's mom says, "My name is Stephanie." Oh, if that's easier, we got that. All right. And if anybody wants to talk to me, put at Club ENTP in bright orange. It'll come at me, and I'll be able to see it. Otherwise, it's hard for me to negotiate with all the words and letters and things. Uh, Oxium writes, "It would be interesting to take an MBTI test and keep track which questions you weren't certain of, then retake it a second time and and change those." Um, you know, I'm always certain about I mean, I really think about what is being said, and I don't, flippantly answer them. I really is the truest nature, and I'll say extreme or not extreme or in the middle, but there's nothing I'm necessarily confused about in any of the questions. They're all very easy to ask and answer, and they're very easy to read. All right. Um, Boba Fett writes, "Have you been typed by Asura or any others?" Um, no, I was typed by 4 professional um, type indicators. So 4 times, and each and every time it came back as ENTP and strong. And the only thing that I've ever seen that came close is ENTJ, but I'm not an ENTJ. And third likeliest would be ENFP, but that's third on the list down. So I know what an ENFP is. My daughter's an ENFP. I'm not an ENFP at all. I love ENFPs. I would love to be an ENFP. Why wouldn't I love to be an ENFP? Everybody loves the ENFPs, you know? And there's nothing wrong with, being the life of the party all the time. And, but I tend to feel that myself. And when I join a party, but I don't have to be the life of the party. I don't have to be. It's just like if somebody else has got that role, good. Let them. I'll have a nice quiet conversation in the corner with somebody all night long, even at a party. But if they're not interesting, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. I gotta go. Hey, I'll talk to you later. Hey, you, and I'll just like dart off. It's like I can't sit down and watch a movie at a party. I can't. It's hard for me to sit down and talk to one person. And another thing is, I cannot eat at parties. I have no appetite. and it's probably some, nervous anxiety in me, but I don't recognize it. I'm trying to recognize that, like, a little more, like, okay, is that what they call anxiety? And yeah, I guess we all get anxious, but I never go, oh, well, I've got anxiety. I'm not suffering from anything. I'm not depressed. Never, I don't deal with depression. So, Aki- uh, so this is another question from Oxium. Writes, would you rather have a kind child or a smart child? Well, I have smart children, and being kind is I mean, for what kindness? What's the purpose of kindness? Well, why would that be like important for my children to have? Because it is important, and I would never want my children to be bullies. I wouldn't respect them. I would lose a lot of respect for my children if they weren't smart too. I would, if they're not, empathetic towards people, I would be very upset. Very not upset. I would be very concerned if they didn't have empathy for people. My son is an ESTP, and the guy's a, yeah, stud, and great looking guy, and just people love him. And uh, but he's a thinking, caring individual for the people that he loves, and he buys gifts that are incredible, like thoughtful. Well, I mean, my goodness, but he knows where everything is. I mean, he's sensory, so it's like, hey, Justin, where's the this or where's the that? He knows right where it is. Everything. Me, I could look for an hour and not find it. Even though I've looked at it, like, it's been in front of my face like 3 times. I passed it like, oh, there it is. Yeah. Let's see. Oxium writes, I'm so impressed with Oxium's comments tonight. If you were on a desert island or a deserted island or an island of desserts, would you change MBTI? Oh, no, I don't think so. I think it would make me more extroverted because as an ENTP, I am one step away from being an introvert. Okay, I'm like an ambivert, complete ambivert. So I get energized by being alone for a week, or I get energized by being around parties for a week. And I mean, I tend to say a week is too long for parties. I don't even know. I can't even get them. Oh, I can give some examples of like 3 weeks of partying in Maui, but yeah, there's like thinking about being on a deserted island, just like thinking about putting myself in my mind of having to in, endure prison. Like, how would I keep myself entertained? If I had a stick, a rock, and a piece of string, I would be completely bedazzled. I can make games in my mind. I can, take a ball and bounce it off the wall, and in my mind, I can have like commentary, like, well, he's stepping up to the ball, and it'll give like a little story of history of each person that's going up to try and do this thing that I'm doing in my mind. I mean, we'll keep ourselves entertained. So on an island, I'll be at home on an island. I have a place on an island where there's very few people that live. The total people that live on the island itself is probably about 1,000, and off the island there's 10,000. But I'm there alone. When I go there, I'm usually alone for all day, and I get along very well. And I don't really. I just see people as being a big factor in, like, you have no idea. It's a variable that you cannot detect. People can be dangerous, especially, people who are, people that you meet in a jungle. You never know, right? So I'm always like, never know what's going to happen, and that's kind of an uneasy place to be, but at the same time, it's like I just deal with people with what I have inside of me. Like, I want to be able to give to people and not come off as being selfish or self-absorbed or braggadocious, or because that's not who I am. That's who I am. Is That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Selfish, uh, conceited, greedy, lustful, prideful, arrogant. Yeah, those are things that make up who I am. How about you? Who are you? I'm arrogant. I'm lustful. I mean, these are characteristics that exist in all of us at some degree, but not all of us are really acute to observing those things. Like I don't observe my feelings. I observe my actions, and then I ask myself, why did I do that? Well, I did it because I'm selfish, or I did it because I'm lustful, or I did it because I'm greedy, or I did it because I'm arrogant, or these are the things like you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest and say, I'm not this perfect person that I can imagine. I am really lazy. I'm, lustful. I'm, you know, these da 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 da, da, and I am lazy. And it's like that doesn't mean I just sit around doing nothing. It means I put off the things that I should do and I do the things that are fun instead. That's my laziness. And and I have a hard time motivating myself to do boring things. And or things that are responsibilities. But I get them done. I'll get them done at the very last minute and and everybody's happy. So that's the way it goes. How, Oxium says, how can you be bad with feelings and be so enthusiastic? Well, enthusiasm is just an optimism that really is because I see all the possibilities of why I should be happy all the time. There's always a reason to be happy, always a reason to be thankful about whatever you have. And I mean, I'm thankful for this juice. I'm thankful for the water that came out of my well to mix this fine orange and passion fruit juice, you know? And when I think about it, I thank it. I thank the water for being so perfect. I'm giving it a very positive vibe. And, that's why we give thanks to to God for our food and our water. When you drink, do this, it's all positive. It's like water has memory. We're 70% made of water. So when we pray for somebody, it affects their water. So I mean, I'm a big believer in praying for your food and praying for your water, not like you're at a restaurant and go, oh dear heavenly jeebus, oh thank you for this food, and I'm so thankful that I'm not like these heathens over here that aren't giving praise for their food. Shame on them. Anyways, dear Lord Jesus, I would like a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and a meanwhile they're just and they're like getting fatter and fatter because their God is their stomach. You try and tell me that your God is the God of the Bible when I say, look at you. It's obvious who your God is. It's what comes out of you. It's what you put into yourself. That is your God, you know. And if it's knowledge about truth, truth is my God. My God is truth. I don't have a religion. I've had a religion in at least 15 years, and I have gone to many, many different churches, and it's always the same thing. It's always, I want to talk to the CEO. Oh, you're the pastor? Okay, so you're the CEO? All right. Oh, and the board of directors is over there. This is a 501c3 corporation. It's a very wealthy organization. I start asking questions, and they don't like it. And then they say, I'm going to go over here now. Okay, so Oxiom says, Club ENTP, if you were going to Mars, which I wouldn't, what one personal item would you take? That's easy. I take the King James Bible, man. That is the one thing I would, and it's so big, it's huge. I don't have it with me right here, but it's like massive. It's like this long, and it would cost. I would just think like the amount of fuel it would take to lift that off with me would be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars probably, but it would be worth it. So that is a very good question. Oxium's got the best questions. Will you please always be here on my live shows, Oxium, because you ask incredible questions. And so do you all. I mean, Boba Fett, you're awesome. Winston's mom's always awesome. And, I've got, Boba Fett, I've got a long history with you. And Mr. Bobby, I love that. Mr. Bobby. They call me on my island, they call me Mr. Danny because my name is Daniel. And I go by Daparu da Crusha because that's my full name, Daparu. And then da Crusha is because I'm I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. No, I'm not a player. But in my freshman year, I was a professional break dancer, and for a couple of years after that. And my name, my actual stage name was Daparu to Crusha, and Daparu is my full name. DA for Daniel, PA for Patrick, RU for Rook, and so that's why I'm Daparu. It has nothing to do with anything else. All right, Al, Winston's mom says, I'm going to head out. Thanks. Bye, all, and see you on the Daparu to Crusha side. Okay. Thank you so much, Winston's mom. God bless you. And thank you for your intellect and all that you bring to everyone on the internet. You are really a blessing. You're an amazing person. You really are. And Oxium says, if you were going to Mars, oh, you already said that. Sorry. See, I do that. I reread. It's terrible. Um, so, yeah, here's the other thing. I don't think it's actually possible to inhabit Mars sustainably at all. When we realize that we've only been outside our our little planet over to the moon, that's as far as we've been, and that moon is still within our gravitational protection. So it's in our gravitational field, and it's protected by many cosmic rays, radiation in coming from the cosmos. And so when we venture out past that, you are in big trouble. People don't realize the wind from the stars, from our star, is blowing at an amazing rate. Like we're talking sometimes, uh, what, over 1 million miles an hour, and it's hitting our Earth, but we're protected. But when we go out, those particles will be going right through everybody. All the astronauts, the people who are trying to get to the Mars, and then when you get there, you are going to have to live underground. I mean, there's just no other way around it. It's going to be very difficult to keep people alive on that planet, and with all the radiation, the possibility is that humans will be completely sterile. So we will need an artificial intelligent system to reproduce humans in what? Test tubes. So there won't be women giving birth. There won't be any more chest feeders. It's going to be a very strange existence. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to, you know, interplanetary travel anytime soon. If you really understood the universe, you would realize we are locked in. This is a prison. We are on a prison planet. There's no escaping it. If you venture out past it, your life expectancy is probably less than 6 months. If you venture past our magnosphere, and it's just something you don't. It's a great, beautiful dream. Like, oh, we're gonna go. We're gonna live on other planets, and everybody's gonna love each other. It's gonna be kumbaya, and it's gonna be total chaos, because one thing that's consistent with humans is we're completely inconsistent. That's it. All right. No, I would not clone myself. Sorry about that. Do I believe in luck or fate? I believe that I'm needing to clear my throat. One thing I don't like is the word luck. Luck sounds like like. What is luck? What's the root word of luck? I'm going to have to clear my throat here. What's the root word of luck? Luc. That's the root of the word. What is Luc? Luce. Luck be Lucifer. It's a root word from Lucifer. And not that I have anything against the persona of Lucifer, but Lucifer represents a Gnostic knowledge that it presents itself as the Gnostic hidden knowledge that was in the original forbidden fruit, be it an apple, be it a pomegranate, whatever. It's up to debate. But when you look at how the comparisons between the forbidden fruit, the from the tree of what? Knowledge. The tree of knowledge. If you can't see the polarity or the not even the polarity, the similarity between AI and the forbidden fruit, then you lack intuition mainly. Um, and so there is a huge, huge connection between the tree that it and the fruit of good and evil, the tree in the middle of the Garden of Eden, and this forbidden fruit of knowledge. Like, why did God want us to prevent knowledge from being granted to us? Now, once we partake of the tree of good and evil, we then see that we are evil. When we see that we are evil, then we can see a difference between us and the character of the Christ or God or whatever you want to, or whatever elevated consciousness you strive to become. And when you look at why are we, I mean, why wouldn't we take of the fruit? Like, that's why wouldn't you? Like, well, if you could be like God, well, why wouldn't you do it? Then you don't have to worry about repercussions, or you don't have to worry about. Maybe you could outsmart God. Maybe you could outthink God, being on the equal level with God. But I'll tell you something. I'm going to tell you. It sounds kind of weird, right? But I think that you were a person, the same person, before you were in your mother, when you were in your father. So when you were in, pick a nut, you were there. You were conscious. You were trying to get pole position, and you had your brothers and sisters around you too. You were the XY or the XX. You were just those two chromosomes. Well, I'm sorry. You were 23 chromosomes of your father, which carry certain biological traits. For instance, your mother, her you know, mitochondrial DNA is going to carry information about your hair. If her father was bald, then your sons will be bald. So that characteristic does not come from the man. The man determines the sex of the child. So you were already a girl or a boy when you were, in your father's testicles. I know that sounds really weird. This is a really strange conversation, right? But um, I like the questions that are coming up. I'll answer them. But let me finish this idea. All right. So you were already inside of your father, and you had intention. You wanted to be like your father. You knew you were inside something very big. You knew you wanted to be like your father. You wanted to have the same intellect. You wanted to know the things. You wanted to get to that next level. And I'm telling you, you have not changed since you were in your father's, you know, whatever you want to call them, gonads. You are still the same person. You are the one that swam to the ovum. You are the one testing and tasting and seeking it and sensing where you could taste the enzymes excreted from the protein membrane around the ovum. And it is lifeless. It just has 23 chromosomes in there that you need to put the whole body together to build it. But there's no personality there. It doesn't move around. It's just an ovum. It's just an empty egg. I'm not empty. It's like a blank canvas with mitochondrial DNA from the mother, but the sperm carries the person. And when you are so motivated, you want to get to the next level and achieve godhood like your father. Now we're born into this world and we want the same exact thing. We want to be like God. We want to know what God knows. We want to be omnipotent. omnipresent. We want to be omnipotent. We want to be, omnipresent. We want to be, you know, omnipotent. I'm having a hard time making my words. Omniscience. That's all. I see omniscience. It's like that's the easiest way I can pronounce that word. Omniscient, omniscient. It's like we want to be omniscient. We want to know everything. And now we get here on earth and we're offered an apple or a forbidden fruit or a way to be like God, like your father. You're inside something big, like you knew when you were in your father. But now we want that. We want to get to the goal. The goal is nirvana. The goal is knowing all, being connected with all your loved ones and all your, all the memories of whatever. It's not what's going to happen, I'm sure. People have the afterlife completely wrong, I'm sure. And what I see is when we die, we translate into only what was true. So you're not going to remember things that were fake. Like no one's going to remember Kim Kardashian's butt. No one's going to care. No one will remember it. And what they will remember will be all the things that are true. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Mathematics. Your brain is so full of knowledge. You're not even aware of it because it's in your subconscious, but it's true information. Some of it is not. Some of it won't translate. There's no need when you become joined with consciousness that we all share. When we become joined with it, then we could know everything because it's the consciousness that's in us all, but each one of us in our own universe is creating a different reality, which is like another universe. So if I were to suddenly just pop into your body and whoop, maybe you're a female, I wouldn't know how to act. I wouldn't be like, the hell are these, Holy crap. Are you guys looking at these things? Stop looking at these things, man. You know, I'd be like going crazy, like I'd be thinking, well, I'm worried about my lipstick, rubbing off, or I'm worried about all the little worries the woman worries about on a daily basis, you know, and so I'm really like thinking if you were to just jump into my mind, you'd go crazy. You'd be like, why am I thinking of all these things? Why am I jumping from one thing to the next to the next to the next? It's because that's what an ENTP does, and not just any ENTP, but this particular ENTP 7 wing 8 sigma male, and then define that, break that down even further and further. I'm 1 in 8 billion. You're 1 in 8 billion. So, we're unique, like our voices are unique, our thumbprints are unique, our brains are unique. There's nothing like your brain exactly in the universe. Nothing. And if it wasn't for your eyes and my eyes and our eyes, the universe would be completely dark. There'd be nothing would be seen. It would be invisible. The universe would be invisible without us looking at it. And I don't believe in little green men out there on other planets visiting us. I don't think that's happening. We can talk about UFOs. What do you guys think? Oh, I'm going to read your comments here. All right. So I love that. If I was going to go to Mars, that was a great one. And I didn't finish your. Do I believe in luck or fate? Well, let's see. I don't believe in luck, and I believe in. I believe that fate is really something we constructed. It's a construct that we have created to cope with the outcome of reality, which is always fate. I mean, it is a real thing, but it's the outcome of everything. But the difference is, are you intuitive enough to put the two together and go, well, my divorce happened, but this happened because of that, which is now why I'm doing this and why I'm happy here. So everything leads up and you go, oh, that's fate. As long as you're happy now is really what matters. And, and always try to continue to perpetuate that happiness. So make the conditions right for happiness. If it's around your personalities of people around you, know how to deal with each one of them. That's why MBTI is so important. And you know what we do with the knowledge of good and evil, we already got it. It's already here. We're already good and we're already evil. Because nothing's going to change that. No one's going to be all good, and no one's going to be all evil. There's a mixture. And evil people don't know that they're evil. Prideful people don't know that they're prideful. It's a blinding. Evil is a blinding. Lust is a blinding. Look at all the problems that happen with lust. So many. Which reminds me, I'm lusting after some likes. So if you haven't pushed like, please hit that now. And that will get I got about another 10 minutes. Can we go another 10 minutes, please, people? Please? I have more I want to talk about. And I want to answer these questions. All right. Now, do I believe in fate? So you see that I do believe it's just an outcome. So I wouldn't say I believe in fate the way that you might think of fate. Now, next, do you think, and this is also an axiom, Adam and Eve were vegan? Yeah, of course they were vegan, dude. Until they ate meat. And no, they didn't have belly buttons. No, I want people to expand their intellect. They are so intellectual they can't believe in a creation. They're so intellectual that they can't imagine that even the Bible says that the heavens were stretched out so we could see them. So that the traveling of light is very interesting. The discussion of light in Genesis is very interesting. I doubt very much that you critics out there of the Bible and creation, I doubt very much that you have spent a fraction of the time looking into all the details. I mean, reading the entire script and then coming up with an opinion. A lot of people come up with the opinion before they do the hard work, and they love their opinions. And that's great. I love my opinions too, but I don't love them so much that you can't change them. If you tell me, Dap, your views are wrong about this or about that, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to entertain whatever you're saying, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't offend me. I believe it's in Psalms 119, verse 164, that it says, or maybe 167, that it says, "Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them." This is where I go back to you're in a different universe than me, brother or sister. You're in a completely perfect world for you, and I'm in the perfect world for me. And whatever your world is to you, it's important to you. I'm not going to try to change that if it ain't broke. If you come to me and say, "Hey, fix my universe," I'll be like, "Okay, let's start with you. Let's start with you. Why do you do you?" And that's a good way to start. But let me go. I want to keep reading your questions because they're so cool. Adam chose love over duty to eat the apple. I think you're right. I think this is the first story of Romeo and Juliet when Adam eats. He's not fooled. He knows what's going to happen. He knows he's going to die. He eats it anyway because he couldn't live his life without his love. And that is, I don't know, I guess say the S word again because that'll get me banned or something. So it's really, it's really a beautiful story. But I believe in, they might have looked like monkeys. It doesn't matter what they looked like. Were they white? Were they black? Were they hairy? Probably, who knows? Does it matter? No, it really doesn't. Because nobody is going, if they say, "You're wrong about that," I'm like, well, prove it. You can't. So it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. You have a different opinion than me. I'm glad to listen to your opinion. And, if you ask me if I agree with it, I'll tell you probably not, and why I don't. I'm not going to try and be mean about it. And I'm not going to try and shame you for not believing in what I believe in. How could you? I mean, if you knew my belief systems, you'd be like, "Dude, you are crazy. Like, you think what's gonna happen? Like, where'd you get that? I'd be like, it says right in Revelations, right in front of everybody. It says exactly what's gonna happen, and nobody seems to be talking about it. Like, what? I'm not gonna go into that because that will make me sound literally certifiably. See, I just lost somebody right there. It sounds crazy when you think about it. If you read Revelations and you believe it, that is figuratively possible, then you really open your mind up to saying, you know what? Maybe I should open my reality a little bit wider with my consciousness because I'm not conscious of everything. Not of everything. Neither is anyone else. But some of us are more conscious of things than others that are meaningful and truthful. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So choose love over duty. Yep, he did. He did it to himself. And he wrote, "Because Eve had eaten the apple." Right. Well, he wasn't the one that was gonna eat it. Not at least not on that day. Um, Kimberly, she writes, "Club ENTP, gonna say goodnight." Oh, good night, Kimberly. I know I'm going on 3 hours now. 4 minutes and 40 or 20 seconds, and I'm going in my 3rd hour. Thank you so much. And Romans 7:8. Yes, I love Romans 7:8. I love Romans 5, 6, and 7. It's really, it's to know that, the good that I would do, that I cannot perform. That which is good, I know not. But that which is bad, I do. I can't help. That's Paul the apostle saying, "I can't control my flesh. There's a war going on in my flesh." It's not the war of the spirit, or it's a war of sin and death. It's like everything is just it's all geared towards death. And sin is just anything done without faith is sin. Anything. If I had no faith to be able to smoke this bong, if the Bible says you are not allowed to smoke marijuana, I couldn't do it with faith. But because I have faith that the word says it is permissible and it is part of this great creation that is very good. And will to anyone that call it anything good evil and evil good. If you put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, it's a bad thing. If you say good is bad, like it's bad. It's like, oh, now bad means good. Okay, we're living in clown world. We're living in clown world. That means no worries. So I'll see about looking at ending this program because as much as I want to continue to talk, you have to be continuing letting me know what you want me to ask this AI, and I'll ask it right now. No question about it. So if you have another question you want me to ask the AI, we've got a few more minutes left, and we'll see what it has to say about that. All right. And but yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm moving on. I'm moving on to other subjects. Let's see. Make sure you are tuning in for the next show. It's going to be probably coming up in about a week and a half. Maybe I have a special guest I've had coming on, an INFP. Should be very entertaining. So I want you guys to make sure when you click the bell icon, okay, that's the notification bell. If you don't click that, then there are things that you're going to miss and you might not want to miss because I'm going to try and be as entertaining as I possibly can. And at the end of the day, I want you to learn something and I want to learn something from you. And I'm learning a ton from you guys. Always, always. That's why I love doing this. You know, I may be giving a lot of my time, a lot of effort in editing and doing the whole show, which is it's so long. I mean, I have to spend an entire week every single day, just 10 hours, 15 hours a day sometimes to try and edit and make that show. And maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not worth it. I've enjoyed it for 2 years. I've been making this show, but maybe it's something that people don't want. Maybe they don't want the whole laugh track, and they don't want the non authentic you know Daparu to Crusha. Maybe that's what they just don't care to watch the little bells and whistles. I don't get it. I like the bells and whistles. I want to make the bells and whistles. Okay, it's fun for me. And if I can't do the bells and whistles, it's not fun. I like to make things that are creative. I like to do animation. I mean, now I'm getting into this thing where I'm creating avatars. I've got so many things I'm not even sharing with you yet, but I will be. I want to share those things with you. 3 hours, people. Woohoo! 3 hours. And what was last one? Last one I went 4 hours and 40 minutes. So how about we go a little bit longer? No? No? A little bit longer? Anybody want to say yay or nay? Oh, now that was grown with no chemicals, all natural. Wow. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful that I have an herb that grows naturally that God provided and allows me to think more deeply, calms me down. You could probably even tell the deepness once I take a bong rip. My mind just goes deep, 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 deep. And it's something I do every day. So I built a huge tolerance. So I'm not just stoned, I'm stoned sober. So I have you know, nothing is preventative of me of doing whatever it is I would do in my day. It's not like I use it and then all of a sudden I'm debilitated and I can't do anything. No, it's actually when you work at yourself uh, practically to the bone, uh, maintaining 5 acres on your ranch, and nobody else is going to do it. You got to do it, and it's a lot of hard work, and it's a great way to first of all relax in the morning, and have a meditation and really you know allow your day to be laid out in front of you. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will be against it, and yet they're on prescription drugs or they're on opiates. They're doing things that the worst things you can do is mingle your body with strangers. That's really one of the worst things that you can possibly do with your body is have unprotected sex with multiple partners. It's just something that people don't talk about, but it's pretty amazing that the Bible warned us about it too. It says it's going to like pollute the land. Adultery is going to pollute the land in the end days. Like, you want to talk about polluted land? I mean, we've got all the birth control being, urinated out of the toilets in the cities, changing the actual life forms in the water. And I'm not going to go into, I don't watch Alex Jones, so I'm not going to talk about gay frogs, but the science is there. Okay. Um, but yeah, I haven't watched that guy in a long time. I've watched Alex Jones. He's an entertaining fellow, but I think he's stared into the abyss too long, and it's taken his mind, and he's a raving alcoholic, which is not good. And he's admitted it. I mean, I'm not saying something slanderous against the man. I think he's he knows who he is. He knows he's not a good person. He's talked about it. He has a great introspection of who he is. He knows what he needs to do to straighten that out, but he is, kind of starstruck a little bit, with some of the celebs. But we gotta. There's all kinds in this world that we have to. We can learn some from the craziest people. You can learn things. All right, Axiom says, would you like to have amnesia in the afterlife? No, no. Nobody would want amnesia, but here's why we have to have amnesia about things that are not real. I'll tell you why. If you want to believe in a Bible that says that there is no crying in heaven, okay, whatever you construct heaven as, I believe that it's not this image that you might see. It's completely different than any organized religious vision that you would see a pearly gate, golden gate up in a cloud with all that stuff. Peter there going, "Oh, sir, your name's not here, sir." But I made reservations. Yeah, with Jesus. He parked my car too. Yeah, he's like a real cool guy. Long hair, good looking. Yeah. He parked my car. All right. That's his name's not Jesus, anyways. Jesus, there was no Jesus. It's Yeshua. A lot of you should really look into that. I think it matters. Because I mean, we're so diluted with all these different beliefs and truths, and so you gotta question everything. Everything. All right. But you're saying, do I want amnesia in the afterlife? And I don't think anybody would. I would want to remember all of the stuff that I did, even the bad stuff. I'd want to remember it. But the bad things are no longer, because if you're connected to consciousness, you're going to like this. Everybody should stay in. This is like the best part of the show right here. The thing is, when you're conscious of things that don't matter, like things like let's just say you're a very sinful person and you do a lot of things that are like self-pleasing, sensual. Those are not real things. Like those aren't like universally believed truths and laws of principalities and things that are constructed in the universe in a scientific way. These are just people trying to please themselves. Okay. Nothing to be remembered by that. It's not a great way to pursue your life. It's not noble. It's totally not noble. It's more noble to suffer and restrain yourself from meaningless relationships and overindulgence in anything, be it food, be it sex, be it alcohol, be it drugs. And when you realize that you cannot remember these things once you translate it, because those things are gone, and you want to be separated from those things which are sin. Those are things that are done without faith. And what is faith? Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So you get faith from the word. And so when the faith is in you, the word is in you, he is in the word, you are in the word, and the word is in the universe. It's a universal truth. It's a physical truth. It's not a magical thing. It's not a mystical thing. It's not a, necessarily, I would hold from saying supernatural. There may be some supernatural things, but that's what is nature. But what I'm trying to say is what translates is nothing that is painful, suffering for, in relationships, the things that didn't matter in the end. Nothing matters except what is real. And so what you want to do is you want to dwell in reality as much as you possibly can with your consciousness, by using your consciousness to be aware of what is real. Like, okay, I might feel this way, but is that real? Or I might intuit that this is happening and this person's doing that and this is a whole big scam and there's is it real? You got to say, is this real or is this just my imagination? Because the minute you believe in your own imagination, your own intuition, your own feelings, whatever it is you're getting information, whatever, functions you're using to glean information from the universe, you're constructing what is important to you. And if what's important to you is just, sensual things, your mind, your brain is going to just be a powerhouse of sensuality. Whereas you want to focus on the intuitive things, the things that are, things that you cannot see, but you have to understand in some intuitive way. You know, is there any truth to it? It has to be there has to be evidence. And when you have evidence, like you have, okay, well, here's my evidence. It says here in the word that da 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 da. So I believe in that. That is my truth. It becomes my truth. There it is, all packaged up. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Or so you have all the information that you need to make up your mind about what is important in this time on Earth. And when it's clear that you should meditate, then you should meditate. Doesn't mean you should contemplate your navel, or bow down to a deity god or a religion. Like yoga can be a religion. That doesn't mean if you do yoga, whatever. Do yoga, you could doesn't matter what you do, just like AI. AI is neither evil nor good. It is what you make it. So when you ask AI to help something in your life, you have to question, why do I want help there? What is it that is so important that that's my main priority, you know? And you have to ask yourself that question on everything you do. If you want to be in touch with who you are. And I'm writing a book called Self, SELF, and it's an acronym for S for spirit, E for emotions, L for lobes, your two lobes, and F for flesh. But our spirit is so starving, it's so quiet, we could barely hear it. Because over our emotions and our mind and our flesh is the big mouth in the whole picture. Our flesh tells us we want this now. This makes us feel good. This is why we eat so much. We drink too much. We you know we're too overly indulged in so many things: video games, movies, entertainment, and yet we have kids to raise, and yet we have, we're going to work. Both parents are going to work just so that what they can afford the internet and the television and the gadgets and the devices and all the things and the trips that you're going to a fake Disney World. I mean, fake, Disneyland. There's like no reality there. You know, it's not a small world after all. It's a huge world. I disagree with your assembly of the world being small. It's very large in respect to and relative to da da da. Da. So, is there more to? Yeah, I've got more here. Oh, we're looking at Oxium is saying, would you like to have amnesia? I already said, I guess I have amnesia about you asking me that question. The next one is Mr. Bobby. Thank you for still being here. Since the late 60s sexual revolution, I think that long before that, my friend, long before that, there are periods of times. I mean, what about the Native Americans? I'm sure they had they had a quite a sexually liberated system of getting a wife. They'd find one and grab her and put her on the back of a horse and skedat. Um, and that was morally fine for them. And if it was something that was against their moral belief system, they would be like, well, I can't do that. She might have her own ideas of what she wants in a man. They didn't ask that question. Woman, mine. And conquest. It's just selfishness. It's what's inbred in us. It's why our strongest muscle when we're born is our tongue, to suck the nutrients from the host. And when they didn't give us what we wanted, we what? We screamed bloody murder. Ah, give me, ah! And we weren't that hungry. We just wanted it, and we wanted it now. But I want it Oompa Loompa now. I always told my kids when they're like, "I want it now," I always go back to when they were little, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. When the girl wants an Oompa Loompa and she is whiny, and when I whine like that to my kids, when they hear what that sounds like to me, to my ears, then they can say, "Oh, I don't like the way that sounds either. I won't do that anymore." You know, um, and that's what I think that's what the whole point of the Bible is, to reflect on us a different, higher, supernatural nature that is anything but human. And Our creator doesn't want us to be human. He wants us to be like him, like God. And AI isn't going to make us like God. AI isn't going to become sentient. It isn't going to become sentient. It isn't going to have a soul. It's not going to be, it might vote, but it won't be, it'll be controlled voting. They will have their own rights that we will have to. Every drone flying over your head will be an individual AI with a name, a gender associated with it. It'll be sentient. It'll be, it, it'll share programs with other drones and make other drones. They'll have babies. It's like Sims on steroids. You think about it. Sims making Sims. I mean, this is what we're talking about, but with physical, endless possibilities. And this is what we've got going on. This is our future, people. And I'm not saying fear it. I'm not saying love it. I'm saying past it because this isn't important. What's important is the end goal of knowing what you need to know and carry with you to translate to the next level, which is being joined with consciousness, pure consciousness that knows everything. So just like God says, I will forgive you as far as the east is from the west, God will not remember your transgressions anymore. It's a delete system. Maybe it's a black hole. Maybe it's something else. I'm just saying there is a delete button, and it happens when you ask God, when you recognize I'm broken here. I don't want to be broken. It's hurting people that I claim to care about. And it's not sustainable, or whatever reason you have for not continuing the reckless behavior that you continue with day after day. And being incapable of making the decisions to change your life, being petrified by fear of man, not fear of God. Fear of God, it means you can't fear man. That means, no, my fear doesn't come from man, it comes from God. My mind, it doesn't come from man, it comes from God. I've downloaded an entire program called the Holy Bible in my brain. It's inside me. I can look up, triangulate in my mind, just like when I asked AI, where does it compare and abstract? Da, 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 da. We do that all day long, and I'm very, very glad to be an ENTP because that is my gift is triangulation of you know when I'm raising my children, I'm using the Bible. I use the Bible to raise my children. And if you think that I'm a fool for looking to a book thousands of years old to raise my children, show me yours and I'll show you mine. Show me your kids, I'll show you mine. I'll show you my children, and I'll show you well-adjusted adults, and I'll show you people that have empathy and people who have they really know their dad because they spent the last 15 years with me, with just me, raising them. So, of course, my family, but as a single father, 15 years, uh, I was blessed to be able to download all of my ideas about reality. And they're not going to adhere to everything I believe in. And I don't know that I'm going to adhere to everything that I believe in. So, why would I hold them to a higher standard than I'm going to hold myself? But what is true is when they see my character is consistent and it has from decade to decade been consistent, then you know that's a person that you can count on, and you earn respect, but it's easily lost. All right, what else do we have here? All right, because I'm going to keep on going. I like to end on big numbers. All right, we got so we've got the next one. If this is from Axiom, if no one can hurt you in heaven, the earth is the only place to learn forgiveness. You wouldn't need forgiveness in the afterlife. But here's the thing: you are only capable in this afterlife of praising God continuously, nonstop. How do you continue nonstop praising God, but if you are completely one with God in consciousness? You know, when we go there, when we translate, when we die, we want to have as much of knowledge that's true, like a crown around our head, in our mind. If you could see my brain light up from the knowledge of truth, that translates. Only that translates. And there's nothing to be forgiven about those truths that exist in nature, in space, in 10 dimensions, or if you want to argue 11 or whatever. Nothing new under the sun. Everything is as it's always been. AI is not new. AI is only a repeat of what we've always had in the universe. And all information is contained in every single, not atom, but electron. As I promise, I'm not going to get into astrophysics. I I have a strong belief system in a God that is able to create quantum physics beyond your wildest imagination. Where if you look at the two slit experiment, and you know that scientists have known for over 100 years that when you're not paying attention to matter, it is not physical, it is a wave with the potentiality of becoming a physical particle to be observed. And this is crazy science. Einstein didn't want to believe it, but it's real. It's kind of like a video game. That's just nothing new. It's what we're living in. We're living in this people want to call it a simulation. Well, a simulation is just a simulation of what we are already in. You want to call it a simulation, meaning it's some computer program. I'm like, do you realize the absurdity of, the thought that you're in a computer program in some teenager's room, an old Macintosh? No, 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 no. No, we're talking about physics, laws, principles governed by something in control, completely being controlled. Controlled perfection and pure, everything's pure, and it gives birth to impurity, imperfection, and chaos. And we're born into this chaos. So for us to find our way, it's like finding our way out of our, father's left testicle to get to our mother's ovum to then continue to grow, to become more and more like our father that we were just in, a second ago, probably 5 minutes ago. So that's a little innuendo. Um, but yeah, you guys, I love this night. This is my favorite time so far. I feel more relaxed. I'm on a nice big couch, and um, you know, alone. It's very quiet. I can hear the frogs. We got frogs that are just all out and just having a good old time. You know what they're doing? Yeah, ribbit. Yeah, they're having fun out there, and I protect them. Like I'll see when the geese. We have Canadian geese that fly out there. I'll run out there and scare them away. Because they eat my frogs, and I want my frogs to make music for me, and they're singing. I go out and I listen to them in the night, and I think, could they be singing to God, their creator? But no, it's probably they're just trying to get a date, you know. But if you don't think about those things, then you're not going to see, you're not going to find any truths. You're just going to be stagnant. All right. Next question. Can Christians believe in karma? Of course. I would love to argue with anybody that doesn't believe in karma because it's the same principle that is incorporated in biblical terms. I mean, you might convince me otherwise. You might have a fact that I might go, "Oh, okay. Well, now I believe in something different." Because that's the thing is like if you can convince me, can anyone convince me of sin? That's what Paul said. It's like convince me of or Yeshua said. It's like be open to be analyzed and don't take offense to it. I don't take offense when people think I'm not an ENTP. I think it's funny because I created this thing, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for my trying to calculate how I can stir up controversy, and that worked. It worked well, but not as well as I would hope because I had other plans. I wanted it to, launch me onto the Frank James show to really test out if Daparu's an ENTP, and he could then use his sponsor Cloverleaf to use to determine that I'm actually an ENTP. And then, the seven wing eight and da 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 da, da, the disc, all that, um, I was trying to create an opportunity for him and myself and Cloverleaf and the other sponsors. I mean, I'm always thinking, that you have to, if you want to make something big enough, and this is taking too long. It's been 2 years and I don't have 5,000 subscribers. I thought it would take, less than a year. And it's discouraging. It's really, that's why I need you to hit that like button and say, I like this. I could watch this again. I could listen to this guy again. Just ramble on about, weird shit, but really, I mean, honestly, that whole idea of translating into the next dimension that is all pure consciousness and be joined with it, one with it. You couldn't have a past memory of something it has a memory of. So if it says, I can't remember your sin, I can't remember your foolishness that wasn't based upon biblical principles, like laws and physics, and these things are real, whether you believe it or not. There's laws, just they are, and the question is, who or what governs those laws? Who made them? Who set them originally, or have they always been? These are the questions that keep us up at night. But when you say, all right, there's examples in the Bible that say that there are those that will get to heaven, but they lived such a bad life that they will be as though they narrowly escaped a fire. I believe it's in Second Corinthians. I could be wrong. But you should pray for the destruction of those brothers, that Satan would come and destroy their life so that they could be saved, but because they have a little bit of faith, they'll make it, but they'll have nothing. And I don't want to have nothing. I want to have a crown, which is my knowledge of what I believe to be true in this universe, in this one life that I have to live since I was a tadpole, you know. And so let me get back to. I think I've said enough about that I wanted to say, but it's means a lot to me. I could just download it into your mind so you know that like these things are really deeply held principles. That's why there could be no crying and weeping in paradise. Couldn't happen. But let's move on. All right, Ecclesiastes, and this is Axiom says 12:13, verse 13. The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes. Good night. Good night, brother or sister, whatever you are. Karma means justice over mercy. I like that. I think karma is a universal principle. It is what the Illuminati believe. If you believe in an Illuminati, if you believe in the United Nations, they actually have the same system of a karma-based system, and they have their own laws that they believe can override the natural laws of man. So there are natural laws of man that exist that we could talk about anytime. Axiom, you wrote, so if there is an apple in heaven, you eat it. Mm. So if there's a tree of, the tree of life is up there. You would have access to everything. Oh my gosh. That's the best thing I've seen this entire podcast. That's it. The tree of life is in the center of Zion when the return of Yeshua comes back in a giant cube made of crystal. I said it. Sorry. I told you. I sound crazy now. Sound like a fool. Well, here's the thing. Why is it so important to know that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of life, is actually in the center of Zion? It's not the tree of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil. Let me take that back. That was wrong. That was an aha. No, that's not right. So erase that. But there's the tree of life in the middle of the garden. But who's to say there isn't the tree of good and evil? That no, I guess it wouldn't be there. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to ask sometime. It is almost 3 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to say good night and see you next time. I will be here looking to make you smile, think, and maybe even mad. All right. Take care. Oh, and don't forget to enjoy the chaos. Squirrel.